Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Flat Earth Sage, Goldie McKinnon, Phoenix Rising 86, Retro Bill, More Books, Cannabear, Fibre Oats, Michael Kahn, Rob H, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Will Brax, Troy Shuker, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Dal West Watson, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Liam Nedrick Jr., Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, and David Wayne Foster. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I'm going to hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I start the preparation for today's live show, together with some promotion for Flatsoid Perspectives GoFundMe campaign, which I might get into in just a moment. So if you are watching this on the Friday showing on my second channel, that's Nathan Oakley. So if you're watching this in Nathan Oakley now, hello! This is Flatsoid's streaming PC fundraiser, so it might still be going. If it's being watched on Friday and we haven't reached the target yet, then please smash either the share button if you didn't necessarily want to give Flatsoid any money, or him any money via this campaign at least. Then, if not, smash the share button and just stick it out on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is that you use to share on social media. That would be very helpful indeed. But alternatively, if you did want to actually support the campaign, all you need to do is slap an amount that you do want to actually give him, and then reduce the slider for the tip amount. Obviously, that doesn't go to Flatsoid, it goes to GoFundMe, and they take a fee anyway. So just slide that to 0 and then just put the amount that you want in, and then via PayPal, hopefully you'll support getting a decent PC for Flatsoid, as his sound is absolutely horrendous. So yeah, that's basically it. Please support, give large, give generously, and I'll send you a quick email. This is me actually organising the GoFundMe to say a thank you once you've done so. So yeah, I'll plug it throughout the live show as well, but at least for now, while we have a pre-show discussion, I won't mention it again in this pre-show, but you will hear it again repeated from Wednesdays. That's today for me doing this as live for you on Friday. The campaign may well still be going, so check it out, share it, donate if you can.
Wow.
Yeah, make sure everyone reads the message I put in the war room. Not that I'm in charge or anything, but make sure you read it.
Oh, you're in charge.
You'll be hearing it again here but when everyone starts piling in. What's up, Nathan?
Sky?
Yeah, I figured as much. Let me ask you a question. Brian brought up something yesterday. Had a couple little posts of mine there. Is there any reason why the second one wasn't read?
Say again.
He put up a couple. Brian, I put him in charge of something, and because I was busy, I would have done it myself, but I'm still busy. I'm going to be in and out this morning. But he put up something that I told him to stress. I wanted everyone to get a little look into, what I wrote. I usually don't write things just to write them. They have some type of like a point. It was a pretty important point on the second one. And it just fluffed away. I will just go on to the next subject.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You realise that, right?
Me either.
Yeah, he put something up yesterday during the live show at the end. Can I post something in here? Does this have a chat?
Does this have a chat?
Hold on a second. Let me try this. Share screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something. Yeah. How do I do that?
I don't know. I've never done it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me send it to you from Ballbusters, by the way.
Okay, that I can do.
Let me copy, and I'll send it to your personal. You might read this in the next 2
Ballbusters,
weeks.
you said.
I'm just gonna send it to you personally.
Okay. Is this it? Left lane. Yeah, this is the thing we read out yesterday. I read out the first bit.
No one read out the second bit, which was the whole point of the reason why I wrote this up. But Brian sort of kind of dropped the ball.
Fire him.
Look, if I dropped any ball, I didn't know I had any ball. Let's put it that way.
I understand that. Yes, that was very clear to me. I have to bitch at somebody. So, have you read it?
Now, I haven't read it the second. I read it at the time. So Brian said
No,
you can read the second part if you want. He said, but you'd be labouring the point. So I quickly read it.
No, he did not say that.
Yeah, he did.
No, he wouldn't have said that. If he did say that, I'd be on a plane over there.
Okay.
So, let me go ahead and read this.
Okay.
Left lane. It's a line of sight. Your line of sight is a straight line to the horizon. Okay? Let's read the definition after I get done with my little spiel here. Wrong. You have the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. The line of sight in the description of an elevation angle is pertaining to the vertical. Listen to the definition. Elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane. Are you getting it?
Oh.
Everyone got it. So, what these friggin' ball-tarred morons are going with, that's just conjured in their mind, they've probably heard somebody else butcher or give their twist on what the elevation angle means, right? They think that the horizontal line or the horizontal plane is your line of sight to the horizon. You getting it now? Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So
No.
what you're saying is no. When you acquire an elevation angle, it's the line between the plane that you're standing on, not your line to the horizon forming a plane. You're taking it
Exactly.
from a horizontal plane. That's what the elevation angle is.
The horizontal plane is the given. The line of sight only deals with the vertical or the hypotenuse.
Yeah. So I thought this was fundamental to what it was and how it absolutely, without question, proves Earth is flat. You might be...
No.
Go on.
No, you didn't. But that's okay.
Yeah, it did.
As long as...
I'll keep posting.
Okay. Again?
I keep posting from my favourite citation in this regard is in regards to when they quote it as being the elevation angle taken from the horizontal plane the observer is standing on.
Yes, well, I know that.
Well, you might establish that plane with the horizon. I think you'll find Brian made this really clear about 2 weeks ago.
Well, not many people's getting it. Okay, let me just say that. So when the ball card comes in here talking about elevation angle, and yeah, that horizontal plane they're talking about is the one we see to the horizon. No, it's not. No. The line of sight has to deal with the vertical, not the horizontal. The horizontal's a given. Okay, good.
It's a given, and how you establish it with your tool might use the horizon. No,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. The subtle nuance of this particular aspect I didn't get. I'll admit that. No, I didn't. Now I do. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's not only you.
It's
Well, then
subtle.
I'm guilty too,
It's
then.
subtle, but incredibly important because
This one was so when I told Brian to do it, right? Because I was busy and I was stressing the second one, right? And then I did it. So I went back in there later in the afternoon yesterday, and what do I get? The first one haphazardly, gone over. Okay, yeah, we got it. The second one just didn't even get read out. I was like, the fuck?
I blame the moderator.
Yeah.
I blame the author. The first one should have been second, and the second one should have been first.
Yeah, you're right. But I was in a hurry because I was trying to get all my ducks in a row here.
So you dropped the ball.
I didn't drop shit.
No, I dropped the ball. Neil, you were right. I just immediately passed that book straight back onto the author. Yes, it's my fault. It's my show. Of course it's my fault. If it wasn't read out when the main point was in the second paragraph, that's on me, not on Neil, not on Brian, not on QE. Me.
No, it's on Brian. So hopefully he doesn't. I don't want to dog him out all that much. Also, did anyone go to the war room just yet?
Yes.
Do you get it?
No, because I don't know what the abbreviation stands for.
Yeah. I'll type it for you.
Because this makes riveting.
Circle of equal altitude.
Shut the hell up, Neil.
Circle of equal
said they
altitude,
got
you
the
say, Neil?
abbreviation. I'm
Can I just
trying to
confirm
help.
that with QE? Neil says it's the circle of equal altitude. Is that what the abbreviation stood for?
That's what it means. Unbelievable.
You're making a mockery of this, Neil. It's an outrage.
I thought he was talking about CIA. I didn't know what it meant either.
Yeah,
I know you did.
I'm going to give a few people tongue lashings over using acronyms too, but that's later.
Did you like that I trimmed out your absolute frustration with Neil and Brian and I think it was Eli? Because you've come in a few times and you've gone, look, don't whistle past where they die. The elevation angle argument is where they die. Don't let that just go into the background while you argue about dip angle correction. Just don't do it, okay, lads? Come on. That's where they die. Labour it again and again and again. When John was well prepared, went over and debated Ruhif. You came on, you made a point of it. Don't whistle past the elevation angle argument. That's where they die. Don't go past it. Yeah, I'm good, QE. I'm all right. I know what I'm doing, says John. And he did, to be fair. But then they whistled straight past it. I can't remember who was here. Some fundy, Hoymar or someone similar. And it was it was a newbie guy with a foreign accent. I can't remember his name now. In any event, Brian whistled immediately past it onto the most important thing, which is dip angle correction. And you're there going, I'm going to abandon you all.
Yeah, did you replay that?
Yeah, I trimmed it out. It was part of maybe a 10 or 15 minute video, but yeah, that definitely made it to air because I felt your frustration. Elevation angle argument is where it lives and dies. That's where it ends. The moment they concede that they have to get the angle from a flat Earth, that's their elevation angle, in essence, by definition. That's it. It's the end of the argument. What are we talking about? Correcting what? For what? No. We've just measured an angle from a flat plane. A given, as you put it. That's it. That's the end of the argument. Why are we talking about dip? Now, don't get me wrong. If you, on this side of the argument, flat side of the argument, get forced into arguing dip correction, no worries. I'm sure you wouldn't have been angry, right? Sometimes that happens. Right. You need to know how to argue it. In fact, I'm sure your standards would be just as high in terms of their understanding as Brian had on dip angle correction. That wasn't the problem. The problem was He's the one moving it past, us. We're moving it past the winning part of the argument to argue about dip correction. And the guy latched onto it late, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he sees an out.
Yep. Yep, you got it. Yeah, I was gonna send a couple ICBMs that direction. Did you feel that?
Do you really believe in those then? That's another story.
Oh, jeez.
I may go and chat with JLB. So a couple of times I've been watching JLB's live stream. He's been like, there's Nathan. I must have a chat with you. It's been so many years. It's like, yeah, you think I've got a short memory, don't you, Mr. Turn around anti-clockwise, clockwise. We haven't forgotten. He wants to chat with me.
He's still out there.
Yeah, he's got a really successful website. He just went off YouTube. He didn't even go off YouTube. He had an account deleted, and then he restarted another one to make sure his mailing list was publicised by YouTube and the occasional teaser. But he generally isn't on YouTube. He's got his own website behind a paywall, and more power to him.
I didn't know that, but that's too funny that he would say that to you.
I really like JLB. I have ever since I've got here. So,
I know you do. I know that. I know who your likings are.
He likes to antagonize people. I realise that. So, yeah, he gets people's backs up. I don't think he intentionally does it.
He's a knuckle dragging window licker, dude.
Oh, come on, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He is. I didn't like him from the moment. It's from the first moment I heard him speak. I didn't like the guy.
Sense a little jealousy here.
There is no, believe me, there is no jealousy.
I don't think so, Neil. He's jealous of my YouTube watching habits. I don't think so.
No, I mean, QE's jealous that you like him. I'm sensing that here.
No way. What are you divining? Number one, never try to divine my intent. You don't get it.
I just sense a little jealousy.
Well, your spidey sense is tingling. Probably, or the neighbor's cat you pumped just a little while ago. So don't put that shit on me.
Sort of like when Alwyn feels like he's not the smartest guy in the room. I could be wrong.
Yeah, don't be trying.
Can we just check if Tent's working? He's tried to join twice on a dodgy account that he's warned me about.
All right.
Check 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do. Yeah, I don't know if you're on a different computer.
The mic
said, do you know this person? Can you really trust him? I mean, I was asking myself that anyway, but
I need an avatar, not a fucking letter.
T. T for 10th man?
No, what happened was I came on the show and the mic wasn't working, and I installed a new browser yesterday, and Google Meet is asking me for my name. So I put 10th man. Now it just shows T.
Because it hasn't signed you in on your Google account. Okay. Fine. That's fine. As long as we know it's no one dodgy.
Well, I can't say I'm not dodgy, but
we know how dodgy the person is. As long as we know how dodgy it is.
As long as you know how dodgy I can be, I guess I'm okay.
Oh yeah, we know. All right. So listen, I'm going to be bringing that second point up during the show, but I'm going to be in and out because my family's flying out this morning. So I just want you to know that I will go over that second point. So,
what are you, a seagull? What's going on?
Say again?
So what are you, a seagull? Your family's flying out.
Yeah, family's flying out this morning.
Don't take any flap from him.
Oh, brother.
I don't even know the first point, let alone the second point, but I can wait.
It's well worth the wait, too.
You're not going with them?
No, they're flying back. No, I live here.
And your family don't?
No, they flew in for a couple days.
Oh, okay.
Extended.
Of
I
course,
think
they're all
Nathan's
grown
just
up
trying
and
to
stuff.
migrate to a point.
That's why I didn't have a live show yesterday. I know you guys pay attention to excruciating detail.
You didn't have a
Very
live show.
disappointing.
Oh, was it not live? I didn't realise that.
That was a debate that I had in the hopper just to play. Turns out that it was quite riveting for some people. I got a lot of comments. Maybe I missed something.
Hey, I was there live. I didn't know till the very end when I did a Stallone impersonation. I was like, wow, I was there for this.
Yeah, I heard
I love how
that.
nonchalant you are about it. You won, hammered him when he circle jerked and rinse and repeat. You hammered him further, and then he very meek and mildly started to concede towards the end. And all right, yeah, you just don't want people to be lying to us. All right. I mean, you couldn't really have a better victory.
I guess that was better than I thought.
What happened to that guy anyway?
It was so good. I made a short trimmed out clip of it. Did you not notice?
I don't know. I seen it. I was like, holy shit, it just played. And then all the comments, I said, am I missing something here?
It's often the way when you put a good video together. You put it together and go. You might be focused for me, for instance. I'm not going to divine your thoughts. Obviously, that would be terrible. So for me, when I'm putting something together, I might focus on the minor bits that I'm working on at the time, like a particular edit or how the intro sums up the whole video, or which theme music I should be putting in. You know, and you go, oh, was that a good choice? Should I have done that? And then when people respond to the video, they're responding to it in a way that you just did not expect. And this is no different. But I watched it, and I was like, I'm impressed with this. I better put this is one of those times I better put an advert together because it's a really good video to promote your channel with. In other words, I thought it was good enough to say, click this link after watching 60 seconds of the summary in a short video. It'll be enough to get them to want to come and watch and subscribe.
Right. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Well, I'm not looking for praise. I'm saying that what I'm trying to get across is that you're saying, oh, I'm surprised people liked it. But my reaction was obviously positive, so positive that I made an advert to direct them to how good of a video it was as a way of getting them to subscribe to you.
Yeah, I understand that. That's why I said thank you.
Nobody interrupted, too. Everybody was quiet, so the points were heard nice and clear.
Except for at one key moment, which is why I trimmed it out. It was Miggy. So the guy's like, so you don't want to convert people to your flat earth religion, paraphrasing. You want to and Miggy steps in and goes, annihilate the lies.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. Now that you say that.
I almost trimmed out his next comment, which was to say that, you know, the liars are going to rue the day, essentially.
Yeah.
But after I listened to it back and I had enough time in the short, I'm like, no, I'm going to put that back in. So I did. I left that in the short.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah. I left Mickey's words because obviously I wanted it to... The idea was it was an advert for you and your channel. So obviously it's Quantum Eraser. Go and subscribe. Here's Quantum Eraser channel. So with Miggy in it, it kind of... I was like, I need to edit that out. And initially I did. But then afterwards I listened back to it and I was like, I really like his point. What he's saying is it's a word of warning. You know, if you're a dirty liar lying about this stuff, then, you know, take heed, take warning. You know, you're going to rue the day.
Yeah, I liked his little spill right there. He was right, you know, straightforward, concise, clear, and to the point. I liked it a lot.
Me too. Hence, I put it back in.
Sweet.
Can I ask a question on what you guys are talking about?
Yeah, feel free.
If you point out a lie, the truth does the converting. Why are we supposed to convert people?
I agree.
I don't know. Unpicking lies isn't necessarily providing anything in terms of truth. And
why not?
That was John's summary, wasn't it? You know, the truth. I know that's what you're saying too, but you'll come to your own conclusions in regards to the truth. Okay, I can't transpose that onto the sky though, can I? Well, then not.
No.
Go on.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is if you show that they lied about the nature of reality and say the earth in this topic, you leave them to go. If they don't care, they won't go any further. And if they care, they're gonna put effort, sweat, equity. And once they put sweat equity, they own it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that
I just
agree
want
with.
to say that that Nathan's the ad for Q worked on me. So I saw the ad and I clicked on it, and I'm busy watching it as we speak. So
There you go.
Yeah, it's like a cult following and stuff. I've had this debate for like 8-9 months, just sitting there waiting for, when something would come up and I'd miss a show for whatever reason. And I remembered it. I said, yeah, I got one left. I'll just put it up there. I hadn't listened to it in 8-9 months. I forgot about it, as a matter of fact.
It's called having one in a chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good advice. Who advised you to do that?
Yeah, no.
That was me. Me advising him to put one in the chamber at all times.
You have no shame, man. No shame.
No shame, because I am ace.
I am amazed.
Hang on, it doesn't work that way. Nathan is ace when someone else says it.
So, am I understanding correctly that we are not allowed to dip?
I'll tell you what, man. Is this a New York thing or something?
Are we talking about the depression
A
angle?
lot antagonizing the boss? Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know about the boss, but okay. Like I said, I'm going to be in and out. So if you
Well,
if
give
you
me a
talk,
hamburger and fries if you're going to be at
yeah, right, in and out.
Oh, the In-N-Out burger. Nice
we
one.
don't have In-N-Out burger here. The only way I know it is from the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, same here.
We have Shake Shack.
When I spent 5 years in California, though. I never ran by it.
Overrated.
No way. Compared to what?
Shake Shack.
Burger King.
Shake Shack.
McDonald's.
Shake Shack. That's an old 60s song.
Love Shack you're talking about. That's an 80s song. QE's favorite band, the B-52s.
Well, he does have people flying in.
Was that his final swan song? Has he gone already?
Nice. Did you not get my migrate one earlier?
I got it.
Let's labour it some more.
All right. Well, I'll let you know as I go south. So, were you guys talking about the depression angle?
I was just going to ask, what do you think the next step is going to be? I'm trying to divine them, where they're going to go next. Because we got them in a corner.
I'm confused. What are you guys talking about?
Neil's deeply concerned about how our opponents will react.
Yeah.
About
About the fact they need a flat Earth to derive their model in the first instance.
haven't they shown us how they react already?
Not really.
Okay. What are you guys talking? I'm confused. I came in late. What's the?
Okay, we get the odd once a week fundy coming that maybe understands the argument, but ultimately will, end in. The last person that came in, for example, argued that they'd got a refracted horizon and they were going to manifest a not actual geometric position. And at the point where he's talking about being able to acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline, he's gone to a definition of tangency and then asked where he gets his tangent. That would be a straight line to a geometric Earth curve edge. At which point he left, because he's already declared that he hasn't got one. He's got a bent line that's refracted to the horizon for establishing his baseline. So he left at the point that he can't get around the contradiction. Well, that isn't a reaction. That's him going, I'm going to leave now. I've said that I can get an elevation angle measurement from a curved surface by way of tangent. That's a straight line to a geometric point we call Earth curve, when earlier he's disclaimed it's refracted. That's something he can't get around, so he left. How is that a reaction? That's just them failing to win the argument.
No, again, I don't know how, what's the word? How deep you want to go into what reaction means. That reaction alone says, I lost. I can't get around this argument. I'm going to leave. So it's a reaction from silence because he can't beat it.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going to go to in terms of the only reaction I can quantify is, although how do you quantify this? The silence. At the point of concession, he left. And further to that, who have we got coming to say we're wrong? We haven't. We've got people proving we're right. Ruhif and McToon being the most recent example. They're asking where you get a fix. With what? Flat Earth elevation angles.
Okay, let me tell you what's going to happen, because it's happening already. They're not paying attention. They're ignoring it. And they're going right to space. All their talk now is about space. So the game is over. They're in fantasy land, and they'll stay there.
You got to keep in the context of what we're talking about. We're talking about a guy.
I asked where they're going next.
I was in the middle of trying to express something. We're talking about a man or a woman who's sailing or part of the Navy using a sextant here on terra firma. So could go to space. Now what? Now you got them over there in the ISS using a sextant. I think Adam went over this already. We had a big laugh.
Yeah, but they're just whistling past everything, and that's where they're staying.
Who's they?
Because we won.
What are you talking about?
Understand
The regular. If you let me talk, the regular people. Look, listen to your chat. Pay attention to the chat while your shows are going on. Talking about the ISS and space. They're not listening to anything, so they're going to space because we destroyed them.
The argument here is about the sextant that's used on Earth, not anywhere else. If they want to go somewhere else, then they've conceded that they can't win this argument. And that's the win.
That's my point.
Okay, well, let's enjoy the win and not worry about where they're going. Why
You don't find it funny?
Why am I concerned about what the loser does after he loses an athletic competition? The winning team's rejoicing. That's where I'm going to hang around.
Yeah, 97% of the world still thinks we're on a spinning water ball. So.
There it is.
And what have you done in your life to change that?
Hold on, before you get into that, hold on, hold on. Before you expand the question out that broad, when you say they're not getting it, Neil, right? Firstly, you convoluted between us and what we do here and how we communicate with our audience versus them, who are undefined. But then we got to the point where it seemed to get vaguely defined as the people who oppose us in this little pond. They're the ones you're saying aren't getting it. They're the ones you're asking for the reaction. But then you move on to expanding them out to 97%, I believe you made up about the Western world being on a sphere.
Well, they are them.
But they aren't them. The people who oppose us in this little pond, convincing them and having them come in, like the guy who came in recently, he's already in this pond, right? Swimming around with us.
I think we're getting a couple of things that should remain in their own separate lane trying to cross over here. And maybe this is what QE was talking about earlier. You can't control anyone but yourself. All you can do is share the evidence that you know on a particular subject. In this case, flat earth debates, it's obvious, it's in the title. And people come in and say, well, what makes you think the earth is flat? And then we give our good arguments. Well, you mean everyone's been lying to me? Well, not everyone's been lying to you, but other people carry the lie and they think it's the truth, but they're lying in proxy or by proxy. Well, okay, well, what are you trying to say? I don't know. Did you miss it? If the earth isn't the ball spinning in something called outer space, does that matter to you? No, it doesn't. I just want to watch the ball game. Okay, go. Goodbye.
Watch the ball game. My Yankees lost to the Mets. That's devastating. Anyway, here's the thing. I think we got to.
Why don't you go out to space? And over there, they don't have baseball games.
10th man, I was going to ask you. I think we need to put heat on the Christian church or what they're heliocentrists. I mean, it's got to
Not
stop.
all of them. Not all of them. But we are putting heat by speaking the truth to them. I got Christians who think I'm crazy because I use the Bible to show that what the world is saying God's creation is. So, there's this big cognitive dissonance issue as well as falsehood, and I'm to have a direct assault on it. That's my whole mission here, is to attack scientism in the body of Christ. So stay tuned. There's plans in the works. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, because no matter where you go, I mean, it always comes up. It always comes up to use it as an analogy, how big God's love is. They use the distance of the stars and the size of planets, and oh my gosh, it gets,
like in that video I shared with you yesterday.
It's
yes,
just like that video. Yeah, that's William Lane Craig, I believe. Yeah, he's we've already answered him already in one expose.
I used to do it myself when preaching until I, was awakened to the truth.
Okay, well, have the same grace for others.
Yeah, but guys like Danny Faulkner, how do you do that? The truth is staring him right in the face. And
why he is our greatest advertising. We need Danny Faulkner to write his book. We need him to hang around and write another book even. We need Danny Faulkner to do everything, because then everybody who doesn't do research for themselves says, answers in Genesis, look, Danny Faulkner already debunked you guys, right? We need all that, because then when we go and tear apart his book, it serves a great purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then there's the other guy, Kent Hovind. He won't budge. He won't even talk about it.
I don't even think about these people in these everyday terms.
Because I think they're essential, because they got a big audience.
What do you mean they're essential?
We must convert them.
Oh gosh. Hey Nathan, congratulations. Congratulations, Nathan. Still there.
He's making coffee probably.
Yeah.
I know this is going to be on me. Congratulations to what?
What makes you think it's on you? No, wait till he gets back.
I was making coffee. I've just come back.
Yeah, that's all right. I said, congratulations, Nathan. And I was waiting for you to say.
Oh, for what?
Show 1700 today.
Nice.
It is, yeah. Show 1700.
Congrats.
I'm going to be paying it forward by promoting a GoFundMe I'm doing for Flatsoid.
Yeah, he needs it.
Yeah, damn right he needs it. I really want to watch his stuff, and when I'm turning it off, I'm like, I've got to do something about this. So I did. This is what I'm doing. I'll get into it in the live show.
So can I summarize what's going on with dip and depression angle until the show starts?
As long as you don't ask me to do anything, because I'm stepping away again.
As long as what? I'm not asking you to get involved? I guess not. All right. I guess he trusts us, Neil. We got the helm. All right, here we go. When the navigator's holding the sextant above the surface of the water, it's creating a depression angle with the horizontal that the water is used as a reference. And height of eye correction is just getting your eyeball on the water so that you could have a horizontal all the way to the GP of the star or sun that you're shooting with the angle measurement, elevation angle measurement, which can only happen from a flat surface, straight baseline. So any kind of correction that gets your eyeball, say 10 feet above the water to the water, must not violate angle measurements, elevation angle measurements, which need a flat straight baseline. So just the action alone of putting your eyeball on the water by making a mathematical deduction as to where you took the sighting is telling you what the surface of the water is. It's that solid straight baseline that's used for the elevation angle. They furthermore prove this by drawing two tangent planes. They draw a tangent plane from your eye line going straight out and call it sensible horizon or astronomical horizon. But it's all imaginary. It's all theoretical because you have to hang a plumb line in order to even do that. And you don't use a plumb line on a boat. So that's how you know it's imaginary. The second is the geoidal, where they draw a tangent plane with where the observer's eye would be on the water, and that's where it's barely touching the circle underneath. But that's also proving you need a straight line, and that's theoretical because that's not happening. Because that tangent plane is where the sun's GP is also on, and that's somewhere way out there in the air instead of on the Earth. On the curved ball, you'd have two tangent planes, one for the sun's GP and one for the observer's GP, and that wouldn't work. Divergent zeniths don't work. Then the third one is the one at the center of a circle where they cut it and call the rational horizon, where they say all the math is derived from for celestial navigation in the books. So no one's doing that either. So you're not doing any of these three things, but they're all tangent planes. And yet, if you just get your eyeball on the ocean, that's the one you're doing because the Earth is flat. And they're all applauding from the sidelines. We want to be flat like you, but we want to live on the ball. But the pictures, 10th, the pictures, you forget the pictures. Listen to your own math. Elevation angle. Above what? A horizontal. That's why you put your eye on the ocean, so you can have the GP of the sun and the GP of the observer be on that same line. No diverging zeniths, no three other tangent planes in theory. All the measurements are taken from a flat Earth.
Well said.
Now I'm going to go get some tea, so you take over.
Well, how do I follow that up? They're still going to space. They're not listening to anything. Is anybody in Discord? Discord, are you alive?
If you're alive, or maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I got you. So what's been going on in the room after the show? That's when they all start popping up, like that video cue you showed. At the end of the show, what happens? Everybody pops up and starts talking.
Exactly that, but I stopped doing that. As soon as the show is over, I jit, so.
I used to stay there. And get into some really hot debates with Zanuck, but it's a waste of time.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, John, who's away from the keyboard at the moment, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good day.
That John is QE, Quantum Eraser.
It is. Before we get into any of the housekeeping or anything else, I'm going to do a quick plug. So I've pinned in the live stream chat a link to a fundraiser that I'm doing for Flatsoid. So I'm doing on his behalf because he's not able to do it for whatever reason in his region. So I'm doing it on his behalf. And so this is Flatsoid's streaming PC fundraiser. Now, if you're a current subscriber of Flatsoid, you'll know that he's moved on to bigger and better things in YouTube terms and started to do a more regular stream. But it's horrendous. The audio's horrible. And the way he's jerry-rigged something together so the audio isn't horrible, it leaves him really quiet. It's just generally very poor in terms of the standards. And as I don't know if you can read the blurb I've put down here. The general blurb I've put about the fundraiser is that leaves you in a bit of a catch-22. I know how difficult it can be to get the ball rolling when you start off on the journey that Flatsoid has. And given this is show 1700 and this channel has had 6,667,000 views, this is me paying it forward and saying I'd like to see Flatsoid succeed. And if he's got horrendous audio, he's not going to garner the audience that will support him to raise the money to buy a PC that's capable of making a decent stream. But I have got that audience thanks to all of everybody, my subscribers, my patrons, my members, who do support me enough for me to sustain myself doing this. Now, I don't know whether or not Flatsoid wants to sustain himself on YouTube, but what I do know is I like watching Flatsoid, and I didn't enjoy his audio, so I want to do something about that, and anybody who's a fan of Flatsoid can relate. I want to hear what he's got to say. He's great. So therefore, a modest fundraiser has been set up, and Anthony Riley and myself have gone through various different internet sites and secondhand forums and Facebook Marketplace to sort out various components here that we can hopefully get comparable to what is in South Africa, so that Flatsoid, with our help, can cobble together a second-hand PC that will be capable of streaming in a decent quality. It might not look nice, but it'll do the job that he needs it to do, rather than his jerry-rigged mic and phone combo, with him reading the chat and not able to do anything or share anything or have guests or basically do anything. And I know he's capable, so he needs a computer. That's all this basically boils down to. So shout out to Dan, first and foremost, who's, other than me, the first actual person to support the campaign. What I will say is, if you don't want to give him money, which is perfectly understandable, just hit the share button. So smash the share button and share the campaign. Typically, that's the most successful way of getting other people to actually support the campaign where you may not have the funds to do so, which is totally understandable. So yeah, smash the share button, or if indeed you did want to donate to this campaign to raise money to get Flatsoid streaming in a decent way, reduce the tip amount to 0. GoFundMe take an amount anyway, unless you especially want to give GoFundMe an extra tip. It's automatically set to something like 15%, so just slide the slider, enter the amount that you want to contribute to this Flatsoid GoFundMe streaming PC fundraiser. Great title, Nathan. I'll have to do better next time, but you get the general idea. So there we go. Hopefully we'll plug it throughout the show if there is people contributing. I should really... Oh, there is already. So Anthony Riley, who's one of the people helping me actually do this with their time rather than their money. That said, I've contributed, so why the hell shouldn't he? But yeah, between me and Anthony, we're going to figure out good quality, cheap components that you can cobble together in a market where it's really hard to get GPUs, for, amongst other things. And then hopefully in South Africa, like I say, he'll be able to do that. So thank you to Anonymous, I don't know who you are, and thank you to Anthony Riley for also supporting the campaign. There is a link in the live stream info box. There we go, done. Welcome, Chocolate.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. We're going to do a bit of housekeeping after that prolonged plug for a GoFundMe campaign I'm running on Flatsoid's behalf. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Real quick, how does this mic sound? Is this okay?
Sounds all right. Yeah, sound fine.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And no. no Earth curvature, formerly known as geometric horizon, or the other way around.
Didn't you have a caller saying he can measure that invisible location the other day?
No, he said it was
How do you
refracted
measure it
and then
in-
left. Oh, you're talking to Chocolate, sorry.
No, I was talking to you. Didn't a caller come in here saying, no, it's there, it's invisible, but I measured to it, something to that effect?
Well, no, he said he can get a a tangent point from a curve as opposed to a measurement of a flat baseline, which is what's actually used. And then he went to the definition that included a description of two circles with a tangent point meeting them both. Not that we've got two circles meeting one another, but nevertheless, it required a tangent in that description, where he's trying to weasel that you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curve baseline. Nevertheless, it included a tangent. So when we asked him, or when I asked him, where'd you get that tangent from? He said, well, from the horizon. It's like, well, you just spent a prolonged period. Anybody listening on the anti-flat earth side, that prolonged period's now in excess of 2 years, telling us how refracted it is. You know, bent line to the horizon, according to him. So they don't have a tangent point, according to them. That was his claim that failed, and then he left the moment that contradiction was highlighted. You don't have a tangent if it's all refracted, according to you. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Hey, Arwin.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Axial rotation.
Of the Earth-based variety?
Well, it's maybe in the space-time bending situation, it is rotating. It's just that in the 3D reality, we wouldn't expect to see that.
Run that by me again.
Well, in pseudo-Riemannian force space, it is rotating. It's just that in the 3D world, we wouldn't expect to see any deviations. So it just seems stationary.
No. The claim is Coriolis deflection. If you're talking about pseudo-Riemannian force space-time bending, that has sod all to do with the claim that we will observe a Coriolis deflection in, for example, the stars, or Neil deGrasse Tyson saying it's in footballs, or various other idiots that say it's gyroscopes or pendulums. There's a claim that we'll see a not actual deflection at a rate of 15 degrees an hour as Earth turns beneath as a non-inertial turning reference frame. That's a claim that we will observe something occurring, not actual deflection at 15 degrees an hour. Now, if you're saying, no, we won't see it because pseudo-Riemannian force space-time, that's gravity in Einsteinian rhetoric, will cause Earth to be spinning but not noticeably spinning. That's what I got from what you said.
No, don't straw man me now. Just kidding. But no, the thing is, I think that maybe the original claim of Earth spinning might have been slightly misunderstood. I think that it was actually spinning in pseudo-Riemannian force space, and that's why we see the stars rotating, but it isn't actually spinning in Euclidean space.
No. Euclidean space is just length, breadth, and depth. Now, the rotational value has nothing to do with the time aspect of length, breadth, depth, and pseudo-Riemannian force space-time, which bends in the description of gravity. But in your description, you did have Earth turning to cause the stars to drift. That's Earth turning beneath the stars to cause the stars to seem to drift in the globe Earth rhetoric at 15 degrees an hour. That's still Earth turning under the stars. That's Coriolis effect, though. Sod all to do with force space, or Einsteinian pseudo-Riemannian force space-time bending. It's got nothing to do with it. It's Coriolis effect that they claim.
No, but it is spinning within pseudo-Riemannian force space.
That's lovely.
But that means that in the 3D reality, we don't expect to see the spin, just the stars rotating.
But that is as a consequence of the claim that Earth is turning beneath the stars to induce a 15 degrees an hour drift of the stars. That's Earth turning beneath stuff. Neil deGrasse Tyson says it's Earth turning underneath footballs. The fundies say it's Earth turning underneath gyros and pendulums. Snipers are claimed to claim that it's turning under their bullets after they leave their guns. But that's Earth turning underneath. That's Coriolis deflection that we would have shortening flight times.
No, but they are actually right, but they are like failing to tell you that what their claim actually is within pseudo-Riemannian force space. They seem to overlook that part. So they make you believe that it's actually happening in Euclidean space, but it isn't. I think that's the misunderstanding from the start.
So there's no evidence for it, no measurements for it, nothing for it, just made up, but we're expected to believe it. Is that it?
No, there is a claim. It's just got nothing to do with pseudo-force space in this particular instance. It has everything to do with Coriolis deflection, a claim that Earth turns underneath things that aren't attached for us to see them drift at 15 degrees an hour. That would shorten flight times if we turned underneath planes to see them drift at 15 degrees an hour. It would mean helicopters would drift away at 15 degrees an hour from your position after they left the ground. Things we don't observe happening. But that's what's claimed to happen. It's claimed that you'll observe Coriolis deflection. For example, Neil deGrasse Tyson says Earth turns underneath the football to cause it to deflect through the goalposts. That's Earth turning under the football to observe Coriolis effect, exactly as the globe claims, not pseudo-force space-time bending and causing spin that we don't see in Euclidean 3 space. That's not what the globe claims.
Yeah, but
the globe
that's
does
where
claim
he's
Coriolis.
wrong. But that's the point. That's where he's wrong. So it is within Euclidean, within pseudo-Riemannian force space, it is actually doing that, and we could still see that on Earth. It's just that on Earth, it doesn't actually do that. It's just doing it in pseudo-Riemannian force space, and you can like accidentally reify the two mediums with each other and just think that it's actually happening in 3D reality.
They're
but it
wrong.
isn't.
The claim is it happens in our reality. A not actual deflection, also known as an apparent deflection. Apparent meaning you can see it happen. So there's an effect to observe. Not actual deflection at 15 degrees an hour because it's claimed Earth turns underneath the stars and bullets and footballs and pendulums and gyros. And aeroplanes. And it would shorten their flight times if it did. That's the claim. Coriolis effect. Plain and simple.
Okay, I tried to explain it, but it seems you just don't understand.
I do understand. I understand globe claims Coriolis effect, and if we're turning under planes to see them drift at 15 degrees an hour, or balls, or bullets, then hot air balloons drift away from your location at 15 degrees an hour. That's 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. That a hot air balloon would drift away from your location. Now, it's not really drifting, it's just going up. But according to the globe Earth claim, Earth turns underneath the hot air balloon after it leaves the ground, for you to see it seem to drift. Seem to take a curved path away from you. Not really, it's just going up and Earth's turning underneath it, according to the claim. A claim that we don't observe to happen.
Right.
Also, of course, as a logical consequence of that, if we were to supposedly get off this non-inertial spinning reference frame, the things that we're told to look at to prove that this non-inertial reference frame is spinning, the stars would stop. And what would happen? The ground would start moving. Neither of those two things happen, ever.
Right. Yeah. It happens in pseudo-Riemannian force space, all of it. They just
No, it doesn't.
neglect the dimensions.
So that means no.
No, it doesn't. What Chocolate's just detailed.
They just never told you.
Okay, what Chocolate's just detailed is a roundabout that's got a ceiling that isn't spinning. And the ceiling has got little sticker stars stuck to it. So that as you rotate on the roundabout, you look up at the stars and see them seem to move. Now, they're not really moving, they're stuck to the ceiling. You on the roundabout beneath turn and see them seem to move. Now, that's the claim the globe makes. It's a claim of Coriolis deflection. It's a claim that comes with a 15 degrees an hour rate ascribed to that deflection that the globe claims to occur as we turn underneath on a spinning Earth. That's the claim. It's the claim thing that we're supposed to look at to prove we spin. Look at the stars. They're moving, not because they actually move, but because Earth is claimed to turn beneath them. Neil deGrasse Tyson says, look at the football. It drifted through the goalposts because after it left the ground, Earth turned underneath the football. The sniper's handbook says you've got to track your target because after the bullet leaves the barrel of the gun, the Earth will turn underneath the bullet, moving the target from the position you saw when you shot the bullet. Those are all claims that Earth turns underneath things that have left the ground. And if Earth turns underneath things that have left the ground, as it's claimed by the globe, then Earth turns underneath aeroplanes, shortening their westward flight time. For example, Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles would only take an hour and a half because Earth is claimed to turn underneath it. So we can see the 15 degrees an hour deflection in the plane. We don't see it though, because Earth is not turning underneath anything ever. Therefore, the analogy that Chocolate gave, with the stars seeming to move because we're on a roundabout beneath them, well, if that's analogous to Earth underneath the stars that are moving only because we turn beneath them, if you launch a drone and point it at the stars, the drone, from your position holding the controls, should whiz away from your position at 15 degrees an hour, and the stars in the frame of the shot that the camera has on the drone should stop. Neither happens because we're not turning beneath anything. Getting some broken. Shia Khan, you're breaking up. I'd love to hear what you've got to say, but yeah. Go on, Albin. Rinse and repeat that it should be taking place in pseudo-4 space, but not in Euclidean 3 space that it's claimed to take place as Earth turns underneath to demonstrate Coriolis drift.
Okay, well, you already said it now, so I don't need to, thanks. At least you understand now. But I really think that it's the new thing. No, look, nobody ever claimed there was Coriolis deviation within Euclidean space, right? It was a mistake. They forgot to mention that it only takes place in pseudo-Riemannian 4 space. Nobody remembered that for some reason. Maybe it's the Mandela effect that caused that.
Now, you've just made this crap up. They do definitely claim Earth turning beneath things. That's the only way you can induce Coriolis deflection at the rate they claim we'll see it, and that's 15 degrees an hour of Earth turning underneath aeroplanes, shortening their flight times. That doesn't happen.
That's correct.
Nothing to do with 4 space.
That's correct.
Yeah, but that only actually happens in pseudo-Riemannian 4 space, and they just forgot to mention that when they made the original claim.
They forgot, didn't they?
Word pseudo.
Okay, you remind them, Arwin. You can remind them.
Dude, I'm just going with this new system that Fight the Flat Earth is trying to attempt. I'm really digging it.
I wondered when he'd get a mention. I've heard on the grapevine that it was originally Paul who postulated the idea that in time, somebody in this little pond that they find themselves trapped here with us, the anti-flat earthers will suggest that the deflection we don't see is occurring in pseudo-Riemannian 4 space. That was a fairly substantial period of time ago as well. It wasn't recent that he made that prediction. But enough time has elapsed now for Fight the Flat Earth to claim exactly what Arwin is trying to put forth, which is that in the conceptual realm of fourth dimensional space-time, that's where we'll see Coriolis deflection. Well, Coriolis deflection is observable as you turn beneath things only, Arwin. So no.
Oh, hold on, by the way. I don't know if Fight the Flat Earth literally has claimed this, but he's already dragged pseudo-Riemannian 4 space within the claim of terrestrial refraction, which is even more silly. But if he's going to do that, then yeah, he might just as well migrate all the works towards it, right? I mean, pseudo-Riemannian 4 space is safe.
My bad. It might be that it was in regards to terrestrial refraction and unrelated to Coriolis. I forget. I'll have to have Paul clarify when he next gets here.
One of the definitions for pseudo is an intent to deceive.
Yeah, let's clear that up. Yes, it's claimed to be a pseudo-force. Coriolis is a pseudo-force. What does that mean? Okay, you're on a roundabout spinning. Your vantage point is from the turning reference frame. On a roundabout spinning. There are two other people not on the roundabout throwing a ball back and forth over the top of the roundabout. Now, what you observe is the ball curving. Not because it actually curves, but because you turn beneath it and the apparent trajectory is curved. Now, that is why when describing the curved trajectory it doesn't really take, that is the Coriolis force. The force that makes it appear to curve. Now, why is it a pseudo-force? Because the ball doesn't curve. It only appears to curve, and the reason it appears to curve is because you are turning beneath it. So for this effect to take place, that's the pseudo force of Coriolis, then you must be turning beneath your observation of something not attached. In this case, a ball. Now, the ball is not curving. It's passed between the people not rotating. Straight. But seems to curve because, and only because, you're turning beneath. So that we're clear, the only way to have Coriolis effect is if you observe things as you turn beneath them. So to have Coriolis on Earth, you must observe things drifting as you turn beneath them. Therefore, the claim involves us turning beneath stuff not attached, like aeroplanes. That definitely doesn't happen, but must if their claim is true. Their claim that we turn beneath things to see Coriolis effect.
There is no Earth-based Coriolis. We don't feel it. We don't see it.
Correct. Coriolis is real.
I'm curious.
Earth-based isn't.
Doesn't
Curious
the
if
Earth
there's
have
anybody that
two axial rotations? An X and a Y?
Got more than two if you expand it out beyond the solar system, if that's what you mean. Yes, it has several.
Yeah, that's why they claim, like the 23-degree tilt. That's why we have seasons, because once the Earth, every 6 months or so, changes its position around the sun, we are now the tilt, like the face of the Earth, the tilt is different, and that's why we get seasons.
Yeah, 66.6 degrees off horizontal. We're bowing as a spherical Earth towards the sun. We are, if we are heliocentrists, in a sun-centric religion. Heliocentric. Sun-centric. Wow. It's the essence.
And if you move closer to the oven while you're bowing, you actually get colder. Look at that.
That's nonsense.
That's what they say.
Absolutely.
We're further away in their summer, leaning in the northern hemisphere towards the sun, but at a greater distance. And in the heliocentric winter, we are tilted away, but closer to the sun.
Meh.
I can never understand that.
It's just nonsense. That's what it is, because we're not moving around the sun.
Well, to me, the weirdest part is that the Earth's supposed to be closer to the sun when it's spring and autumn everywhere. So how is it then like a more average in between temperature and not just warmer everywhere?
I know, but what I do know is that it would be much more preferable to the heliocentric Western world viewpoint that we debate about the nonsense within the assumption that we are moving around the sun. We are a physical sphere in motion around something that we see moving in the sky. It's preposterous, it's absurd, but that is the essence of the very religion we're discussing. Heliocentric, helios being the sun, centric meaning at the centre. Any evidence of us?
Just to go into more nonsensical claims, right? I'm just thinking how funny it is. They'll tell you, oh, the sun, the Earth being 3 million miles closer to the sun, that doesn't matter. It's just about the tilt. But they will go out of their way to tell you something called gravity that comes from the supposed ball that's flying around above us that we call the moon. Supposedly that can affect the oceans on Earth.
Well, also, how would you prove that the Earth is tilted? If you're not going off of just the seasons, let's just say nobody has even been to space. How will we prove that the Earth actually has that 23 or 66 degree axis tilt?
Oh, you'll need.
I don't think that it would be possible.
I have the answer. We have the answer. We have the answer as of 2022. You'll need a couple of things. You'll need an R value to assert that you have an axial value to be rotating. And in order to acquire that R value to assert that you are tilted on an axis, you'll need a flat plane to get it.
Done and done.
Well, even if they want to go beyond that, I mean, I feel like they would still need a third-person perspective. They would have to be looking on the outside onto Earth to even see that it would be tilted compared to the sun.
Well,
For it to be tilted, it would need to be curved first. Right?
Yeah, it's first got to be a sphere with an
ball,
axis.
It would have to be a ball first. Sorry,
Exactly.
Nate.
You've got to get past that first presupposition that it's a ball with an axis rotating, moving around the sun. That's many steps along that assumptive path. Well, first prove that you've got an axis. How do you do that? Well, prove you've got a radius, i.e. we're on a spherical shape. How do you do that? Well, how did they do that? Well, Al-Biruni acquired a height of a mountain off a flat plane, went up it, and then violated his first measurement of a height from a flat plane by claiming that the very straight, flat line he got the height of the mountain from was actually curving. That's one method. Or you can derive it by elevation angle measurements to Polaris, 1 degree every 69 nautical miles. Well, those degree measurements require a flat Earth to measure. Hey, Adam.
Afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. That's going to be a good little interrupter for me to plug my GoFundMe that's going on right now. So as we're halfway through the show, I don't know how many people are watching. Let's have a look. Is it a decent number? I hope so. I can't see. God damn it. 90 people watching. Oh, a little bit less than usual. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well, there we go. Such is life. I'm doing a fundraiser currently. Let's just see if I refresh it, if anybody's actually contributed towards this in the meantime. No, they haven't. There's a link pinned in the live stream chat that's going by at the moment. If you are watching this live, or indeed if you're watching this on Friday on Nathan Oakley channel on the re-up. So this comes out a couple of days' time on my second channel. Subscribe today if you're not already to my second channel. But the Uncut and After Show, i.e. pre-show and after show, that's when this goes out, when it's pre-recorded. But there's a good chance this fundraiser will still be going then. So smash the share button if you didn't necessarily want to contribute to it. Hit it up on your Facebook or your Twitter feed, and that obviously helps, even if you didn't necessarily want to contribute financially. Or if indeed you're keen, as I am, to get Flatsoid streaming with a decent setup so we can hear exactly how fantastic his information is, then smash that donate button. Just reduce the tip amount, because GoFundMe get an amount anyway. They charge a fee for this service. So yeah, unless you specifically do want to tip GoFundMe, then leave the slider where it is. But otherwise, just stick your amount in, and hopefully we'll get well on the way within a few days to getting Flatsoid with a decent set of equipment rather than the absolute atrocious garbage that he's currently trying to do this with. Being in a catch-22, if you've got horrible equipment, people won't stick around long enough to hear that you need better equipment and support you in that endeavour. So I, as a sort of pay it forward, want to support other people around me who can't necessarily do this. And I'm privileged in the fact that I've got a lot of support. I've got a lot of subscribers, relatively speaking, in this little tiny corner of the internet we call Flat Earth. And as a thank you, if you like, to all of the support that I get, hopefully I can pay it forward in some small way by running this GoFundMe campaign on behalf of Flatsoid, who is unable to do so. I've also got Anthony Riley, who's one of the contributors in this particular instance, to go through and vet the second-hand parts that I've suggested at this stage that he uses and cobbles together in a horrible market to build a PC currently, so that he can do it for maybe $500 UK money. That said, with a few fees, it'll be maybe 550 after I've got the amount. Hopefully it'll get him about £500, whatever that translates to into funny foreign money over in South Africa, so that he can just go out and buy himself all of these little bits and bobs, put them together, slap a cooler on it, put a power lead in it, and then start streaming. So please share, please donate. That's Flatsoid streaming for a PC fundraiser that I'm running via GoFundMe. Thank you very much for your time. Should we carry on with housekeeping, or did anybody want to make a note in that regard in Flatsoid's favour? Hopefully so. Some nice comments would be good.
Well, I was wondering, isn't it just his mic? Because the visuals and all seem all just fine in his videos.
No,
So-
it's far more. No, there's a lot more to it than that.
Okay, I'll trust you on that.
He's got an external mic and a phone that he's managed to cobble the stream together with, and he can get it to work with Streamlabs via the phone, but he can't react to anything because the phone's doing one function only, and that will work so he can talk to his audience with this separate mic.
Oh,
The
wait.
mic doesn't work on his PC, and his PC isn't powerful enough to run OBS and various other things. So he can't do. He's just in a position where he's just got old, out-of-date hardware. He's waiting on a new phone, which will come in the next couple of months, which you definitely need if you're going to be doing YouTubing. But you need that in addition to a decent PC to actually run a show from, and he hasn't got that. So, you know, that's where I can help, and Anthony can help, and Anthony's giving up his time to source other bits and bobs that might be better than my suggested components and check compatibility, and, you know, that's time. You know, I unfortunately can't just bung him 500 quid. I'd love it if I could. But, you know, if a few of the people who watch and want to see Flatsoid succeed go, I'll chuck him $3. If there's enough people chucking him a few bucks here and there, we'll get there in no time.
Yeah, big
Anyway.
shout out to Flatsoid, man.
Yeah, Flatsoid's ace. I want to hear what he's saying. You know what I mean? It's a bit selfish on my part, really. Anywho, any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
See question number 1.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon for all the fundies who believe that the sky is a vacuum?
The second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply to the globe model.
No, it does not. Because if it did, we'd all be dead because the gas would fill the space.
Anybody heard of anybody claiming surface tension when it comes to, you know, gas pressure stuff? I know it's funny, but I've heard that before. Like the argument against gas pressure without a container. They say, oh no, surface tension, blah, blah,
Sorry, surface tension? Do they believe gas has a surface?
It would seem so, yes. I just wanted to know if anybody else heard that. I heard that the other day.
What is tension?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
What's tension? You say surface tension. We've got past the surface bit. Gas doesn't have a surface.
It's pressure. It's pressure, yeah.
But no, well, tension isn't pressure. Tension's something else.
Isn't it intermolecular bonds?
You've got it, Arwin straight on it. So gas is unbonded. How can it be under tension?
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that bonded model. But yeah, it's definitely pressure in the way I see it.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Arwin already summed it up. The heliocentric model just doesn't have the second law, natural law, applied to it. Because if the gas we were all breathing had a sky vacuum above it, then it would fill it, in line with entropy law. That's what gas does. It expands to fill whatever volume it's got to fill. And if the sky was that volume, a space for gas to fill, then gas would fill the space. We'd all be dead. Gas pressure would never have developed.
And who was it that said, if your theory goes against the second law of thermodynamics, there's no hope for you?
Arthur Eddington.
Eddington. Yep.
Yeah.
John?
Hey, can I butt in?
You can.
Can you pull up the two comments that Left Lane made yesterday? And I want to go over the second one, most important one.
The most important one, the one that didn't get read out by me yesterday.
Yes.
I can bring that up right away.
Let me know when it's up, or maybe I could see when it's up since I'm in here.
Okay, it's up in the audience view. Shout out to Godzilla. He says, quick, someone throw Virus a lead jacket. His ship is sinking fast. Thanks for the super chat, Godzilla. It's up on screen now, Quantum Eraser. He
doesn't even know what a ship is. That's the problem. Okay, the second comment didn't get dealt with yesterday. I think it's profound. I hope everyone else does. It's very important. This comes off one of Nathan's shorts, not his shorts, what he wears.
We like short shorts.
One of his videos the other day had Left Lane on it. So left lane, the wrong lane, says it's a line of sight. Your line of sight is a straight line to the horizon in reference to being battered to death by elevation angles. That's what his response was. That's incorrect. That's why I said wrong. And a lot of these ballers appeal to this because they think they can get out of incoherent jail free card with their little, they try to bypass the horizontal in the definition. So let's see how he's wrong.
Can't you claim it, John?
What?
Can't you say, I've got an elevation angle of 0, and then...
just hold on 1 second, Adam. Just there's a nuance that I'd missed as well. Just go ahead, QE.
Yeah, just let me finish it, and then you could bring up your elevation angle.
No, I'm taking the mic, that obviously.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. So, I said, let's do it again. So left lane said, it's a line of sight. Your line of sight is a straight line to the horizon. More or less meaning that's how they get rid of the requirement for the horizontal plane in the definition. But let's read the definition of elevation angle in a second, because the line of sight in the description for an elevation angle is pertaining to the vertical. The horizontal plane is an automatic given. Listen to this. Elevation angle by radartutorial.eu. Listen closely. Elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the what? Vertical plane. You see how they separate the horizontal plane out from the line of sight? You crayon munchers.
The line to the horizon.
Wobbling.
The line to the horizon isn't the horizontal plane. You're utilizing something in your vision to establish what is already a given. That is the horizontal plane that you are standing on.
Yep. Yep. So your line of sight isn't a horizontal, you crayon munching window lickers. So you can't get out of incoherent jail free. Right? You don't pay attention to detail. You always put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, and I'm going to bust your ass in front of God and everyone. So I think that was emphasized good. Now you can take the piss out of him.
Go ahead, Adam.
Love it. No, I mean, when I read it, it's like, really? Is that what you're doing? Is that how you're trying to reconcile this by a mismatch? The sarcastic point I was making was, but if you had a 0 elevation angle, that's the only time that could possibly make sense. Why you'd bother with a 0 elevation angle, I don't know, but that's the only time that contortion could make any sense. It's a misunderstanding, a misreading of what you're doing and what applies to what and why, most importantly.
Thanks for your attention to detail.
This subtlety will slip a few people by, but we'll reiterate it again and again. The horizontal plane that the observer is standing on is a given. How you establish that horizontal plane so you can measure the angle in the vertical plane is almost irrelevant. Using the horizon, using a bubble, who cares? The horizontal plane that the observer is standing on is a given.
Has nothing to do with your line of sight there, crayon munchers. You're finished. The elevation angle is the death dagger. I'll just prosecution rest. You're finished. You are finished. And you can't get an elevation angle from a curved baseline under any circumstances. You tracking with me, sunshines? Thank you.
Yeah, you also can't get a tangent to a curve, so.
A tangent to a curve is redundant.
Yeah, we're not establishing a tangent to a curve. We're establishing a horizontal baseline.
Even with the dingleberry, the pretend mathematical misdirection that they do, it's still to obtain a horizontal plane. The tangent to the leading edge of a ball is still to create a level plane reality being in celestial navigation, that level plane represents the surface of which you're going to navigate upon. Not obviously with a dingleberry, but all of it is to have that match to the horizontal plane of which you're going to navigate on.
So I got a question because I've been sort of in and out the past, not in and out, Burger 10th. I've been sort of in and out over the past 4 or 5 days because, like I said, I got family coming in and we got a lot of stuff going on here. A little birdie told me that somebody invoked calculus to acquire an elevation angle from a curved adjacent. Are you fucking kidding me?
Language.
Sorry.
What they were, from what I could gather, John, part of McToon's trap to John was to show two curvy lines intersecting and saying, could you measure the angle there? And part of their ad hom attack of him, when he said, well, you can't, because within calculus, you actually then turn those curves into straight sections to be able to. Yeah, so you can, the integral of a curve, at the integral of a curve.
Wait, stop before we go down this road. Wait a second. You said two curvy lines intersecting. What the hell does that have to do with celestial navigation and the elevation angle?
Nothing. They were just trying to throw John off with an unrelated question to do with calculus. Yeah. Which is a way of solving. Yeah, exactly. It's a way of solving it within the mathematics. But it doesn't. It still really doesn't generate an angle. It just generates 2 points based on the gradients, the average gradient of those lines at that point. For you to generate.
Wait a second.
Let me finish. Just generate a theoretical angle, which isn't relevant to the angle on the line.
Oh my God, he's going to do it anyway. Okay, thanks. So, in a Declaration of Independence discussion, I'm going to bring up the GNP of the Netherlands. Is that kosher?
As Christmas?
No.
You're going to talk about the GNP of the Netherlands for us?
No.
Thanks. So it's non sequitur from the Black Lagoon. If they've Jedi mind tricked you over this, then you're a dumbass cracker.
Okay, don't milk it too much. Just labor the point. Labor the point.
Labor the point. Labor the point.
It was just a straight.
Not you, Adam. Hold on.
Not you, Adam. Oh boy.
Can I just say something real quick?
No, just give it 2 seconds for a quick summary from QE. Then yes.
I think I already did my summary. It's a category error, right? Number one, it's non sequitur. Number two, it doesn't follow. It's really batshit insane to try to play that game. But see, they can do that. Why? Because the people that they're appealing to are dumber than they are, right? And all of a sudden they say, like, calculus. None of those crayon munchers know what fucking calculus is. None of the people in their audience. So then they can Jedi mind trick them real easy. Well, let me throw up some fucking formulas up here, right? That's how they do it. And then the other people, their audience, all they do is parrot the headline. Well, we get calculus, really, right down, and then they divert, leaving the calculus there. The same old thing. All right, is that good?
Are they?
Yeah, that's a good summary.
Are they using calculus to change? What are they using the calculus for?
Who cares? We're acquiring an elevation angle, and the flat Earth requirement for a baseline that's flat is a prerequisite. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It's nonsense. It's non sequitur. That's the point.
Right. That's what I was going to say, because even if they were going to find a point on the curve, they would still need to make it flat first.
And they did.
Well, they apply calculus. They do.
Make it straight.
They use the Haberson. They use the Haberson formula to turn a flat plane into a curve.
Well, you attempted to explain that when they asked you about it, right? They tried to put you on the spot, and you got some way through explaining that, and then they cut you off, told you were wrong, and then about 5-10 minutes later, McToon did exactly what you were describing to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all just flim-flam, as QE's kind of saying it, and I wasn't agreeing with them. I was pointing out, and because I heard it, and I'm like, what are they claiming there when they first heard it? And how the hell, and this was my point, I think, the following day, how the hell, yes, you can do that in calculus, correct, okay? Understand what you're doing and what it's for. What the hell does that have to do with celestial navigation? I had no idea. It was,
well, let me ask you that. Well,
intimidation tactic.
Let me put it back to you as a question, Adam. When I'm performing celestial navigation, is step one perform calculus? What's step one?
Obtain an elevation angle, but there's no calculus. There's no need for calculus in celestial navigation because we are dealing with straight lines, of which we can obtain angles from. We're not dealing with
step one, measure an angle. That's two straight lines.
Yes. So we don't need calculus. It's not required because we've got straight lines, and that's what I was saying. It was just such an odd thing. I was asking them to justify why they felt that had some relevance to the topic that was at hand.
They might have been just trying it out, just throwing it out there, see if it sticks, see if it gets us talking about it,
Have you ever been shocked? Have you ever been shocked by stupidity?
Yeah.
Frequently.
Daily.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Shout out to Joe Volkhammer. I hope I'm saying your name right. Probably not. Don't forget to like and support the show, guys. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate your support, Joe. Thank you very much indeed.
All I did was make the statement that you need two straight lines to make an angle meeting at a vertices. And
they were like, nah, calculus.
Yeah,
basically.
It was no calculus, and if you can't do it, that proves you're a liar about the qualifications you've got. Near that, wasn't it?
Exactly. They're repositioning the actual process, which is what it is, in terms of measuring an angle in the vertical after establishing your horizontal, because that's what an angle is. Beyond that point, it's all nonsense. It's all subterfuge. It's all hyperbole, because they've already proven Earth's flat. So what are they going to do? Exactly as just detailed. If you can't do our side task, then you're a liar. And you represent celestial navigation that we're arguing with. It's like, John doesn't represent celestial navigation. It just is what it is.
There was a point that came up in the chat towards the end last time. We chatted about a lot of stuff. But there was a point that I responded to in terms of what John had said. I'm just scrolling back to it. There it is. Yeah. So this is the message John gets. I'll check. Hold on. And it gets a message back saying, right, all right, time's up. I've given you set number one, and then all the details for the little challenge follow. But from what I was told, and from my understanding of the rules, what would happen is, if the flat earther accepted the challenge, he would then choose which set he wanted. So if John had accepted the challenge, part of the method of accepting the challenge is to choose the set. I would say what we've got here is a confirmation that John hasn't accepted the challenge by the simple fact that they have said, your time's up, and have allotted him the set. Okay, secondary proof that they are misrepresenting the truth about what was agreed and what wasn't.
Are they still stuck on saying that I accepted their challenge when they accepted my challenge?
Yeah. Well, I say that whole text, all right, time's up, I've given you set number one. That's confirmation you didn't accept the challenge, because the challenge was for you to accept and choose a set. They've just said, no, you're having this. Right.
I think because I didn't refuse the challenge directly to them, they think that I accepted it like some kind of, ridiculous artard.
But who cares if you did? So the challenge put forward, upon delivery of a flat earth proof within the challenge, you conceded that Ruhiv had done a perfectly adequate job of proving Earth is flat with elevation angle measurements. Sorry, why did it need to be done again? Oh, because the moderator's challenge... Is that an oxymoron? The moderator's challenge needed to be fulfilled, correct?
No, it's because it's a neutral outcome platform.
Is that something normal? That moderators are telling you that you're a liar and that you're what? Presumably worthy of people going after your career because you're a liar in the job that you're doing? I think that was the general inference. That's the moderator doing that because you didn't fulfill his challenge that was demanded upon you when you arranged with a third party to debate on his neutral channel. You didn't fulfill the moderator's challenge.
I thought we'd settled that. It's not a neutral channel. It's a neutral outcome platform where the best they can get from the way they set things up is a neutral outcome. Not neutral as in it's a fair to both parties.
They're shooting for a draw, and they're shooting for a draw really fast.
I don't think so. I think they saw a draw in discrediting you personally. That's not a draw. Ruhif still used flat Earth elevation angle measurements in acquiring his fix, did he not?
Lost when I pointed it out, and it angered them. That's why they attacked me.
Right. So you think after you win, them attacking you personally is a neutral outcome for them? No. They lost when they measured and proved a flat Earth with their elevation angle measurements in order to acquire the fix from their process that they used. It needed a flat Earth to do it, and they used it. A flat Earth, that is. Ruhif. Kudos. Good job. Elevation angle measurements in your fix acquisition proved Earth is flat. Well done. Good job.
I would concede they didn't achieve a neutral outcome if you do actually sit and listen, but I was saying the point of the moderator is to try and get that place to what appears to be the layman to a neutral outcome. And as John said, when QE was saying, they're putting arguments that are way above the level of their audience. So when presented, like with the calculus bit, their average listener would think that they're being told the truth by these guys, that it's got some relevance to this. That's how they try to achieve the neutral outcome, with their moderator on side. But that's different to them achieving it. But that is the purpose of the moderator in those formats, I can see, is to poison the well and ensure that the less informed maybe believe some of the rhetoric that was put at John. Like I say, with the calculus was a great example.
I think these numpties know, or at least some of them know, that their audience is even more numpty-ish than they are, right? So I think they put these little things out. Like, it's the same thing with refraction, right? After the Black Swan, how many people just use the word refraction as an argument in itself, not knowing what it is, not caring what it is, just saying, oh, but refraction. That's why the horizon's not at 1.22 miles away, right? So I think a lot of them know that their audiences who aren't going to get into the same debate that they are, they just need them to have an excuse, a reason, right? An argument, a one-word argument. Refraction, gravity, right? So this is the new one. Calculus. It's nonsense.
I wonder whether they throw it out there as well, Chop, to see if
sorry
we
to
do
interrupt you, Adam.
respond.
Go ahead.
I was say this. It reminds me of the vertices thing where they bring it in, think they've got a point, and if it's left unchallenged, they will use it. Yeah. So I wonder whether they bring these things in just to test whether we know what we're on about. And that's why I brought it up the next day. What are you on about, guys? Quoting these things. But I wonder if these things don't get challenged, whether we would have heard it popping up maybe in the Discord being thrown at us, like when they'd clearly sat down and read about vertices, you know what I mean, for in terms of an angle, and you can have a curved vertice, even though you're not getting an angle from it. Yeah, those little nuances where they tend to come in. I think that's probably part of their aim as well. Have they got something that they can use?
They're on the search for the next gotcha. right? Because that's all they want. That's all they got, right? They don't even have that, but that's the only thing that they can bring because there's no argument, and they know that. So the only thing they could do is appeal to their audience and say, look, I said a word that flat earther can't argue against. So we've won.
Okay, that's the second time it's happened. So I'm going to have to interrupt you. I was going to do it to Adam, but I'm going to do it to you now. No, because in this instance, when you paraphrase it as the flat earther comes back with, that's not the case here. This isn't us making a claim about how we could measure Earth as a flat baseline. That's not us making that claim. That is the method of celestial navigation. So this is different. What's currently happening is the anti-flat earthers / globe heretics are disputing what actually takes place in celestial navigation. It's not disputing us. So when they say, well, okay, how are we going to do this process called celestial navigation? Step 1, calculus. Citation, please. No, step 1, measure angle. You're going to need a flat Earth for that. That's it. That's the end of the argument.
But that's the point. But that's my point, right? They've already got the okie doke in there. Like, what didn't they supposedly provide John with angles already? Right? Where'd you get those angles? Right? So they provided him with the angles to do something with afterwards, forgetting that you need something to get those angle measurements. What do you need? Flat plane. But let's ignore that because we've already got them. Right? So let's just keep the flat earther talking about some other nonsense after whistling past the graveyard, like John likes to say, right? After we've already got the angles off a flat plane. They've always got that okie doke in their back pocket, and they're just looking for the next one.
Hey Nathan, Nathan, I hate to interrupt the discussion. Before you go, make sure you shout out the profound debate yesterday that I didn't know was quite profound.
Sure. Are You South African versus Quantum Eraser was put out yesterday on Quantum Eraser's YouTube channel. Little did we know that it was up his sleeve for a good few months before putting it out to the public, waiting for a time that he couldn't go live on a Tuesday just to keep his scheduled slot. But it was a great little clip, and I'll put out a shorts video with a link to it. If you want to find it on my channel, just go to the videos section and shorts. I can't remember what I think I just called it "What is a ballbuster?" or just "ballbuster?" or something like that. Because I thought it summed up nicely what we represent as ballbusters. Hope you agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not here to convert you. We're here to point out the hypocrisy and lies that come from a heliocentric religion that you've been born into without realising. Now, whether or not you accept us pointing out the contradictions and lies that have come from many people's mouths here on this very show, that's up to you. I don't care if you're a flat earther afterwards. I don't care. What's that you say? You're not converted? I don't know what you'd be converting to, and I don't care. I'm just going to go and eat my dinner. Not really concerned with what you're doing now. You are maybe concerned deeply. And if you are, then good for you. Maybe you'll find out the truth. Maybe you'll let me know if it's something I don't already. But it doesn't alter the fact that we're not here to convert anybody. We're not evangelising about flat Earth. We're pointing out where you've been lied to, how you've been lied, and then it's up to you to move on from there. That was QE's sentiment summed up in a much more concise way than I, whilst in debate, which is also quite awesome, and then trimmed into a shorts video, which you can link to find it on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. So I think it's called What is a Ballbuster, or something to the words to that effect. I'm going to do one last plug for the fundraiser that I'm currently running on behalf of Flatsoid. So Flatsoid's got a terrible setup, and I'm hoping to raise a few quid just to get him a decent streaming PC. So if you did want to support this campaign, smash the donate now button, make sure you reduce the tip amount down to 0, and just add how much you want to actually support the campaign by. Or if indeed you didn't necessarily have the cash to support this campaign, then smash the share button. I'll stick a link in the live stream chat as this show's rounding out, and I ask everyone to stay tuned if they're watching after the fact on the premiering stream, but smash that link. Hopefully we can raise him a few quid to get him a decent PC, and we can all enjoy the dulcet tones of Flatsoid without crackling and horribleness while he's doing so. So please support that campaign. Massive thank you to the people who've already done so. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you first and foremost to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Respectfully, you bloody noob. There's a reason we put a fee on these people, you know? Just to waste their time, mate. And I'd do the same moving forwards. They're jokers. They're not there to find the truth. They're not there to do anything other than, like what we're saying, with these pathetic little non-related gotchas. That's the best they've got now, isn't it? To try and catch you out on something that has nothing to do with the topic at hand, and you may or may not have, you know, got that bit of past knowledge. I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? Like with the calculus thing, I knew there was something in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? But it's hardly anything relevant. Do you know what I mean? It's certainly not relevant to the topic at hand. But that's the best they've got. So that's why it's a fee up front if you want to waste my time now.
I don't think they're going to come in saying it's a neutral platform anymore.
They can't, can they?
They have one.
Oh, they will. Oh, absolutely. They're self-deluding themselves, or however you'd phrase that. Self-deluding themselves.
They're not gaslighting themselves, are they?
No.
Yes, they are.
They're not gaslighting themselves. That's not possible.
It's Mandela affecting themselves.
Yeah, what they're doing is looking for their own bias to confirm it. And in the process of affirming other people's bias, when you describe them basically putting something above the pay grade of their audience to them and sounding smart in the process, when people in the chat, in their comment section go, oh, you did a really good job showing this stupid flat earther what's what with calculus, that makes them feel warm and fuzzy for a few moments. And like they've done a good job in proving Earth's a sphere. They're heretics. That's the best they can get for their pain relief.
I gotta move you guys in Discord 1 second.
I'll just jump in the after show. Hopefully people will follow me.
Who will object to that?
Nobody in here right now. Now you might get some arguments.
Yeah, so I was having this discussion in the comment section, as often happens. So it's about the physicality of the horizon.
But the horizon isn't physical. It's a visual thing.
So we have a discussion.
Say again, Rune.
I said excellent, so we have a discussion. I will argue the horizon is physical, and the reasoning is that light is physical, and the horizon is an apparent, it's something we see. And since we see it, we only see light. So the horizon is physical. The horizon is not geometric, and the horizon is not tangible. But it's a semantics point, really. It's about the physicality of the horizon.
What's physical? Wait a second. Wait a second. A semantics point? What the fuck kind of argument is that? Is the horizon light?
That's my argument. That's my point.
If I look up the definition of horizon, is it going to say light?
Runes are friendly, by the way.
I understand that.
He knows,
is the
but
horizon light?
We can have the discussion, Nathan. It's okay. So no, it's not going to say light. It's going to say apparent, and because it's apparent, it's something we see, and when we see it, we only see light.
Wrong. Apparent in that context means not actual.
It is as it appears.
No. Apparent in that context means not actual. I say again.
You know why, Rune?
No, I don't disagree. It's not actual. Of course, it's not actual.
Which part's not actual? Which bit's apparent?
It's the place where the sky appears to meet the ground. That's because we see it and it appears to be there. We see it.
So does the sky meet the ground?
No, it's not actual.
Well, there you go.
I agree it's not
so
actual.
How can you say that an apparent position where the sky meets the ground, the sky doesn't meet the ground, is actual or physical when it doesn't actually meet the ground?
Oh, it's because it's the point about if light is physical, then it's a physical thing.
He's going back to light now.
How is light physical?
Could I ask a question?
No, I'm asking. That's the point.
to
If
address
light
that.
is physical,
Light.
But it isn't.
You're
Are
saying
you
if
just
light's
saying
physical.
light is
If.
physical because it's natural? That's the Greek root of the etymology, physics, that it's natural.
What the hell are you people on? Number one.
no, I can have citations from dictionaries.
When I start talking,
Hold on. He's answering you. Go ahead, Rune.
Oh,
I can
brother.
I can show you dictionaries where light is physical, right?
That's not my argument, for fuck's sake. Number one.
Calm down, no swearing.
Number one. I don't know. Do we have an Adderall drip in Discord? Maybe you all can hook up to it to focus a little bit. Number one, actual or apparent means not actual. Right? That's number one. Number two, you keep on conflating the horizon with light for some reason. I don't know why. And then going into the definition of what light is. What the hell, man?
Eggsy, a quick
Human eye doesn't perceive light,
I could ask
just so
Rune.
you know.
What?
The human eye does not perceive light. Human eye perceives
Holy
the byproduct
shit.
of light.
What the hell? Oh my God, dudes.
Okay, we'll come back to that non sequitur later, Dicelo.
If I take a picture,
If I could ask,
photograph,
please.
Go on, Adam.
Yes,
Rune,
please go ahead.
Can you hear me, Rune? If I'm looking out to sea and I see the horizon and its apparent position, and then I take my iPhone out and take a picture, is the horizon in the same apparent position?
No, it changes position with equipment and position of the observer, and everything.
Exactly. So the horizon isn't actually happening anywhere, is it? It's the only place it's happening is in the lens, because it's not. Yes, it's constructed with light. Everything we see is, isn't it? But the actual formation of what we call the horizon is just the limitation point of that particular lens. It's the point where we're not seeing anymore. It may be described as where the sea appears to meet the sky, but it isn't, is it? Because we can zoom in and we can get more detail. We can change the lens. It's not a real thing. It's just a point of failure of the equipment. It's the point where you can no longer resolve. But other than that, it isn't actually a thing at all. Certainly not anything in the reality. It only ever occurs in the lens.
Yes, but we can have them, we can photograph it, right? So it happens in reality in the sense that we can take a 2D image of it.
What's that 2D image generated from? That's from the lens, isn't it?
Yeah, from the lens. Yes, it's from the lens and the light entering the lens, right? The photographic plate.
That line we see in the picture, is that there in reality? Or is it just a failure of the lens?
It's a case of Magritte. You know Magritte, ce n'est pas une pipe. You know that meme? Or it's a meme from the 1800s.
No, I'm asking.
It's a pipe on a wall, and it has the text, "This is not a pipe," right? Because it's not a pipe. It's an image of a pipe on a wall.
I don't know where you're going with that. We're asking about a horizon. Is it there? Is there physically that line there? Is something existing there? Or is it just the fact that we can't resolve what's there? So we get the horizon. We're not seeing something, are we, when we see the horizon? We're not seeing something.
It is the place where the sky appears to meet the ground, right? It has an angular size. The horizon has an angle size.
No. It's only size relevance is to do with the lens.
Hold on.
Yeah,
when you say, hold on, I just want to get clarity on that. Normally, when I interrupt, just want to get clarity on what you mean when you say the horizon has an angular size. Now,
please, I'd like to hear this.
What do you mean by that, Rune?
Okay, so there's a limit to the smallest thing we can see, Nathan. I'm basically reiterating many of your points from 1,000 shows, right? So there's a limit to the smallest thing we can see. Yeah, and that limit has a size, and that size is the size of the horizon.
What in the world, man?
Yeah, go on, Quantum Eraser. What in the world?
No,
we have a limit to what we can see, and that limit has a size. And that size is the size of the horizon. Go on.
You want me to go on, Mern? Do you want me to continue on this?
Please explain how that's incorrect.
You friggin' clown!
Okay, calm down.
The horizon isn't
You're
optical
giving
dissolution.
physical dimensions to something that's not physical. That's the problem.
An angle size, yeah, that's a physical dimension. Yes,
I understand that. I understand that. But the horizon is not physical. It's an apparent thing, which you've already conceded to. Yet you want to give dimensionality to something that's not physical, which is.
Let's take an image. Let's have an image of a horizon, and let's measure the horizon. We can do that. We can have an image of a horizon, and we can measure how big it is. It's very small, but it has a size.
Go ahead,
no, it's okay. I can think of an instance where you're right, but there's certain circumstances where you could ascribe an angular value to the horizon. For example, in the Isle of Man discussion, there's an inversion layer. Now, it has an ascribable pixel value to it. It's got, let's call it 10 pixels. Now, you're saying that in that picture, you could say that you've got 5 pixels. Now, that might be true, but you've got an optical effect of a mirage that's making up those 5 pixels before the sea begins again, or above those 5, 10 / whatever pixels. Above it, the sky begins again. Okay, so I can say fine. But when you say it's got an angular size, that would mean that you could measure the angle to it. Now, when you actually look at something with your eyes or with a lens, what you're describing at the horizon is the limitation to your angle of view, not the angle of the view that gives you your angular limitation, which is what you're proposing.
No. Not the angle to it, the angle of it. I want to see an angular size. Somebody pull the Black Swan photo up. I want you to give me the angular size of that horizon.
Yeah, exactly. Of it. You can't get an angular size of it when you're describing it with the angle to it and the limitation thereof. How can you ascribe an angular size to it in that instance?
The angle to it's irrelevant. That wasn't the claim that Room was making. He was saying that the physical width will be due to the optical resolution of the lens. So it would be, and what John's saying is, well, how do you measure that then? Yeah, because you're going to have to measure either side of your optical dissolution point and give that an angle from the observer. That's just not really sensical.
On the image, on any image, let's just take the Black Swan images as an example. Then the horizon, if it's not actually measurable, is because it's less than 1 pixel. That's my claim now. That's a postulate. I don't think I can back it up with anything, but let's try to measure it. We will see it will be less than a pixel.
What the hell are you talking about?
I've got to stop you there. No.
I don't think you know what angular size is.
Hold on.
I don't think he knows what angular size is.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's what I'm trying to get across. That's why I introduced pixels. Yeah. No, if you're going to ascribe something an angular size, that's its angle size. So you've got to measure an angle to it with some device, let's say a sextant. That's fine.
No. Not to it, of it.
No. So like the sun, if we say the sun's 1 degree across, yeah, that's what he's measuring. The width of the horizon is his claim.
Of it.
Of it,
right,
yes.
that's
the width
actually,
of the horizon. How many degrees
it's not the angular
does it
size.
take up in your view?
Exactly, Adam.
Not what the angle from your horizon to the horizon.
Exactly. So we're talking about the angular size of the point horizon where the sky seems to meet the ground or sea. It's the angular size of it that he's suggesting it has.
Right. I think
more realistically, it's the angular size of your optical dissolution point,
which is nonsense.
Yep.
There needs to be a class on prepositions and what they mean, I believe.
You can only get it from a picture, in which case you're talking about how wide in pixels is the horizon. Well, in which case you're not measuring the angular size of it anymore.
Okay, true. I can extrapolate. Well, if we take a picture and we then want to get the angular size, we have to have a real life measurement of the angular size of similar. Yeah.
No, you can't do that. You can't take a picture and then get an angular size to anything ever.
No, I think he has his words mixed up. I think he means the field of view angle.
From a picture?
Yes, because that's one
I did understand him.
That's
yes, I understood him
as well.
Yeah, I got him. You can't do that with a picture.
Yes, you can, because that's the field that you're viewing through that lens, and depending on what size that lens is or the magnification, that is your most optimistic angle or optimized angle that you could possibly have. You know, like the eye has a 200 to a 200 degree or 220 degree field of view. That is its angular size of viewing.
Yeah,
no.
But from within that picture, regardless of what your field of view angle may have been when you acquired the picture, you cannot get an angular measurement from that picture. That's not possible.
Well, I think it is if you know the distance from left to right horizontally.
Okay. Let's just ask you this: what's an angle?
It's two straight lines meeting at a vertex.
Okay. How do you get two straight lines meeting at a vertex from a two-dimensional picture? You don't.
Left to right.
You don't.
If you take to the edge of the picture on the left and
that's
the
not
edge
an
of
angle.
the picture to
That's
the right,
not an angle. That's not an angle. That's the measure of the frame in 2 dimensions. That's not an angle.
Just to clarify this, it's important. Where are the two straight lines that are going to meet to form the vertex? Where do they run from? And two, where is the vertex, the angle you're going to measure at, and where do the lines run from?
Okay, well, if I have a picture of the New York City skyline, Manhattan, okay, I am the vertex, and if I'm pointing towards the World Trade Center over to Yankee Stadium, the World Trade Center is on the left, so that's one line. I am the vertex, and the Yankee Stadium being on the right is to complete the angle.
Right, so now do that to the horizon, which is a point source, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a point. And you could do that in reality and take the two angles from the top of your point to the bottom. What you can't do is that from a picture. You can't even get one angle. You've just got a picture.
Well, you can if you know the distance. So say like if there was a ship on the left-hand side, you can take a tangent. You're the vertex to the ship over to the right, horizontally, and say because that ship is 10 feet out or 10 miles out, and I'm going to that, the ship is the horizon. We're going to label that the horizon. Then everything to the right, 10 miles, it would be the other line.
What? We're not measuring the width of the picture.
Right, but then you have an angular size
the width
of the horizon.
of the horizon, not its length
create an
across
angular
the
size
field
of
of
it.
view, but its actual angular size in the field of view. So, like, if we were looking at the Black Swan, yeah, where we look at the second platform and we say it's got 10 degrees, it's its angular size, yeah. Now go further back, right? We know the second platform's at 10 miles, yeah, roughly. What is the distance to that horizon so that I can approximate its one?
That was my next question.
One angle.
That was my next question. You said because we've got the distance.
I think I misunderstood then.
No.
The
Adam's
angular
question.
size of it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on. Adam's question is in reference specifically to you saying because we've got the distance to Yankee Stadium, we can then get the angle, approximate it by extrapolation from the image. Okay, not bad. Okay, then we've got to have the distance, haven't we, to the horizon. So how far is the horizon?
I think he's misconstrued
it's technically
the
forever,
point.
I guess.
Hold on, Adam. Say that
He
again.
was thinking width as opposed to the thickness of the horizon, but the actual width across your field of view, which would be the equivalent to the Yankee Stadium analogy. But the horizon, look, if you're looking out to sea, the horizon will always fill your field of view, isn't it? As long as it's uninterrupted. But that's not what we're trying to measure. It's that claim that this optical dissolution point has an angular size, which I understand the point, because it would be the size you could no longer resolve anything at. So you'd look at the Rayleigh criterion.
0.22 over lambda, right? It's that.
Yeah.
It's in that ball game.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then you have to think, right, well, that's what I could. What are you measuring, and at what distance do you think the horizon is, so you can apply that 1.22 lambda to it, so that you could then scale it to give you a real world made up value of the width of that horizon. You see, you've got to know where it is, and it isn't anywhere. Does that make sense? It isn't anywhere ever. That's why it's a bit wobbly, the horizon. It's the point of dissolution where things aren't resolving. Now, there's other factors which will confuse that resolution, not just thinking, but it's a point of weakness. It's not a point to measure to or anything real in the real. Like I say, it only exists in the lens, so I don't see how you can reify it to measure it, to give it a size even.
No, it must have a size. You said it's in the lens, so it must have the size of the limitations of the lens.
Yes, but exactly. But then you can't then take that out of the lens, put it at a set distance into the real world, and reify that limitation as a physical size in the real world, or to have any significance.
It's not out there. I'm not postulating it exists like 3 miles away from us. That's the horizon out there. I'm postulating it exists. It really exists, but it is in our eyes. Of course, we see it. It's the light phenomenon going through our lens into our brain. That's the postulate. Oh, it's a semantics point. It's not really a point about. It's not tangible. It's not actual, but it is physical. We don't have to agree on maybe I have a different definition of physical, right? But I can show a definition of physical where this would apply.
I just got back. Did he just circle around to the? Why are we even talking about this anymore?
Yeah, you're right. Why are we?
I'm serious, because it's so stupid. It begs belief. What's your point, by the way? I thought.
We'll never know. Thank you, Rune. Still developed a decent conversation. I thought that was fascinating, even if you didn't enjoy it, QE.
I've had some contemplation about the horizon as well, that it's simply a limit or a division or a boundary between heaven and earth. And so it's like it's the lack of anything. I don't know, just some thoughts. Trying to understand.
It has an optical side.
So we look up what a horizon is, and it says the lack of anything. You think?
It's a boundary. It's like above it and below it.
Profound.
It's an optical side effect. What is present within the realm that we look into, earth below, air above, it's gonna eventually show itself like a horizon. So that's what it is. It's just a side effect of sight.
Are you saying the horizon doesn't have an address?
It's a side effect of sight.
Isn't it? Isn't it, QE?
It's a side effect of the limitations of sight.
How is that different?
Yeah, I like it. It's quirky, but I wouldn't say it's incorrect. I like it.
Right. Well, an optical effect, right?
Yeah.
Or a side effect of sight. You see the horizon happens.
Look up a beach ball. It's a side effect of sight.
Talking about the angular size of something that's not actually there.
Yeah, we kind of are. But it was an interesting conversation about what the horizon is and isn't. And the summary of Arwen's conclusion is it's just a side effect of seeing stuff.
Yeah, blind people don't see it, do they?
Well, and if you're seeing within a realm that has a geometrical nature to it, then that side effect might be geometrical. And if it isn't, then it's going to be arbitrarily appearing depending on the conditions of what you're looking through.
Would it seeing something be a direct effect of sight as opposed to a side effect? If you're looking at something, that's
the
not
horizon,
a side effect.
That's what I was going to say. Does it mean that you're just seeing?
The point is that the horizon is not an object or even a geometric aspect, right? It's just an effect that happens in the preponderance of seeing. Everything you see, it will result into a horizon effect.
I'm with chocolate. It's the results of seeing. That's all.
I'll say it's quirky, Owen, but you're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I wouldn't throw the word side in there. It seems like, to me, it seems more of a direct effect. If I'm looking at the horizon, you're saying it's an effect of seeing. Well, I'm seeing because I'm looking at it. That's direct. There's no side about that. But yeah,
unless you do not have a open view, and then you're not really going to see a horizon. You're going to see a wall. So it's not always there.
Okay. We're specifically talking about seeing a horizon, not just seeing. So why do we see an horizon? It is, I like it, a side effect of the limitation of the lens. Because if you think where the horizon is, if the lens is better, the land does continue due to perspective off, and you're able to make the distinction between the land and the sea and the sky still. It's only because of the limitation in the lens that horizon forms, because you're no longer able to distinguish, because of the angular size of the things, the difference between them. It blends. Exactly. Yeah. So it's quirky, like I said, but it does show you what you're stating, that its formation is nothing to do with geometry.
Exactly. It's a side effect of seeing.
Or physical obstruction. It's not a physical obstruction in any way.
Is anybody claiming the lens is the cause of the horizon?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Say that again, Joe?
It's only in the lens. It's not out there, is it? It's not a line that goes to meet you. It only happens in the lens. It only resolves in the lens.
Well, the point of me saying that is that that's a question about the natural world, right?
Yeah.
It's a causal relationship, right?
Yeah. Bigger the lens, further you'll see. The horizon will render in a different position. Doesn't mean there's different horizons that are real that are out there, is it? They're only real in the lens.
Right, and if that lens, if that lens happens to not focus, right, then everything's going to blur up. you're probably still going to be able to distinguish sort of an horizon because, yeah, usually the sky has a different color than the ground, and that will still be you will still be able to see the effect of the horizon because it is just an enclosure. That's what an eye is, an enclosure, and through a hole with a lens, all the light from everywhere outside is transferring inside, and then the horizon will be the side effect of what typically gathers inside.
Oh my God! So we still talking about these crackhead definitions of what the horizon? Slowly back away from the microphone, please.
I'm sorry, we're just trying to make a show here.
Please, everyone, just back away. Now listen, let's try to change the topic. The last part of the science presentation on Ballbusters is this Saturday, just to let everyone know. So we're back on schedule. Okay? We good?
What do you think of the horizon is, Kiwi?
I'm not talking about the horizon anymore. I'm done with the crackheadedness. I'm not going to contribute to it.
Just got to have some perspective.
Why not? It's a show.
I think kind of the main problem with the horizon is that kind of the secular cosmologists and astronomers and physicists think that the horizon is much farther than we actually know. So they'll say things like, we have to know that there's worlds or multiverses beyond the visible horizon. But coming into flat Earth, you realize the horizon is not beyond this world that we live in. It's the boundary between the earth below and heaven above. And so there's a discussion of horizons even in mainstream science and what it is and what's beyond it.
That sounded like a magic mirror.
God, you guys need to find yourself a girl. That's what needs to happen. My God.
Or a global with real arguments.
Yeah. I'll take a woman. Global with arguments, that's just not doable.
Well, women actually exist. So.
I know finding real women is tougher as well, but at least there's still some, Globers with arguments, no.
Well, they're only apparent because we can see them. Unbelievable, man. Are you guys that bored?
QE,
well, what the hell else are we doing?
The horizon.
Sorry, are you projecting?
So
I mean, we were having a perfectly fine conversation here, and you disrupted it, and now you're saying we're bored?
Yeah, I'm the bad guy.
Get him, Arwen. Get him.
I'm the bad guy. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
You're just struggling with the side effects of seeing.
Yeah.
Just breaking him inside that phrase.
It's probably Mandela effect, right? He's not remembering it the way he wants it.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, or magic mirror on the wall?
Yes, Neil. Yes.
Mirror, mirror.
Even mirrors are quite fascinating because you look at a resting body of water and you see heaven in the water.
I like this guy. Yeah, continue. What else you got?
I don't know why you're laughing. It's just discussions and observations about our world.
I'd say something, but I'm the bad guy today. I'm going to have to take a step back. No one's going to like me after this.
Have you had breakfast?
I did. I just finished breakfast.
Maybe you need to let it sink first.
He's been here since the pre-show.
I haven't had caffeine yet, though.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I woke up at dark 30 this morning, which I usually don't do. So I'm a little bit off kilter a little bit.
Oye, con el low por ahí, con esa.
Oh,
He's off
here he
kilter
comes.
like the globe.
Mr. Savior, I dogged you out a little bit on the pre-show, Brian. Don't take it personal.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Get him, Brian.
I didn't do exactly a stellar job on that mission.
That's a perfect characterization. Yeah, not exactly.
I can't.
He's off kilter like the globe Earth.
While we're on the subject of the horizon, I just want to point out that when the globe hijacked flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris, that meant there was elevation angles between the horizon and Polaris. Now, there was no 7/6 added in to these globe hijackings. They just used the horizon that we saw, which is not their horizon. So 7/6 was not added in to their Polaris, their claimed Polaris observations. Now, when I questioned Rumpus about this only the other night, Rumpus claimed that the elevations to Polaris completely ignore the horizon and has nothing to do with it.
Rumpus?
Yeah.
He's still out here?
Yeah, I ran into him.
Over where?
At Bev's chat, live chat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I haven't thought of Rumpus in months. Except when people rumpus, I mean, we use it as, adjective. I can't believe those crayon munchers are still out. What the hell are they talking about now?
Well, I don't remember what they were talking about, but I know that I started asking them some hard questions. Blue Marble Science claimed that globe maps did not exist, and Rumpus claimed that the elevation angles to Polaris had nothing to do with the horizon. And
the hillbilly has nothing. The elevation angle has nothing to do with it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Hillbilly football's redneck retard, and Mr. Gumby football field. He's still out here too.
Yeah, he's still around. Yeah.
Who's Gumby football field?
Mr. Gumby football field is fucking. I'm sorry, friggin' hillbilly football's the redneck retard, aka the photosynthetic redneck.
Oh, I didn't know he had another one.
Yeah, Mr. Gumby football field on his presentation. You don't watch my shows. Anyway, I digress.
I've been busy.
Yeah, I know. This crayon muncher not only put on a slide in a video, a football field, right? He not only put on the slide that the football field has a tangential speed, that is, it's moving. Not only that's just disturbing as it is, but check this out. He not only says that, but he says that the field's not only moving, but the 40-yard line is moving faster than the fucking goal line.
Holy shit. Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack.
I remember that.
Shit. So why do people run in races? Just stand in a different place and you can have a race. What the fuck? Oh my god, man.
They're not so
You
shocked.
guys are not keeping up with the QE debate.
I mean, even in minutiae terms, that is correct, though, isn't it, in their heliocentric worldview? That the ground is moving, and if it's curved, it's got to be moving at a slightly different rate further down the field. I mean, as absurd as that is actually their claim, though. I mean, I hate to step in when somebody actually does make a claim that is in line with the Earth turning underneath as a non-inertial turning reference frame. And in the minutiae, he's correct. In the globe claim, not the fact that it does.
Thanks, Nathan. I was just referring to reality here.
Yeah, okay, it's absurd. We're not moving. There's nothing to suggest we are. There'd be a Coriolis deflection if what he said was correct. It's not. But for a change, he's actually making an assertion that's in line with the globe claim. These heretics don't typically stand in line with the globe claim, do they?
In this particular case, he's not a globe heretic.
No. It's just in line with the globe claim. So after he says the football field's moving at these different rates. Oh, right. So Earth's turning underneath. the blimp that's filming the game at different rates, right? Well, that would be noticeable, and it isn't.
Yeah, back to reality. Just imagine yourself, you got your kids with you, you're out on the soccer field, football field to you numpties over there on the island. You're at the soccer field and you got your kids and you call the coach over and you say, listen, this field's moving right here where we're standing, but down there where that goal is, it's moving slower.
That's what I'm saying, bro. What the hell?
No, tell all the parents on the sidelines, get everyone's attention and announce that shit. That's what I want to see. You're insane, baltards. You're absolutely insane. It's hilarious. Belly laughingly so. I love this. Fucking comedians, man.
I just want to say that there's a lot of very good soccer teams on that island.
Somebody needs to tell those soccer teams they've been doing it wrong the whole time. They've been running around and shit. You don't need to do any of that. What the hell?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. Yeah.
They just need to jump up in the air and wait for that ball to come to them.
Then appeal to the law of conservation of angular momentum, and then say there's only one reference frame and not realize that you've just appealed to a law that's derived from Newton's law with inertial reference frames. You got a lot. You can't make this shit up. People wonder why I still stick around. But for the belly laughs, obviously. This is friggin' hilarious. If you don't think you're under a carnival tent out here with these knuckle dragging, window licking baltards, then you're one of them.
Yeah, this is actual comedy, which is great because actual comedy has really fallen off. Everything's woke down, everything's stupid. So yeah, Globers, keep going with this crap because this is great. I tell you, man, that consensus is a hell of a battery to have in your back. To be able to, with authority, go out and say the dumbest things imaginable and just think, no, I'll be all right because consensus agrees with me. I mean, that's a hell of a thing, man. Crazy.
We're living in 1984.
Well, is somebody going to talk?
It sounds like chanting to me.
I'd talk more about the horizon, but Huey doesn't like that.
Harris wants to talk, but
he's
busy
defining
hiding
what
in the
I
chat.
like, my likes. Hold on. He's divining my likes and dislikes. How you doing that? You got like special evil mind powers or something?
Wait a second. Only I do that.
Up.
I'll tell you what. Let's put those special evil mind powers to work. What's my favorite color?
Get the lottery tickets, man.
Green.
Numbers.
Magenta.
Magenta.
Hank.
Good. You get the moral of the story? Don't divine other people's intents and stuff. It doesn't matter anyway.
Did I hear virus just now?
You could change the pants and not leave the pants that you're in?
Hell yeah.
Iris, what took you so long?
Hey man, I'm always here. All you gotta do is say what's up and I'm gonna say something.
What's up?
What's up?
Hey, how's it going? What's up?
We just say your name and you'll just appear.
In a different reference frame?
I'm like that sometimes.
So, Virus,
Kinda
would
like
you agree
Big Titty Man.
that the Virus, would you agree that the horizon is just a side effect of sight?
My God.
I love you, Owen. It was brilliant.
I don't know if QE is ready for this conversation.
Are you?
Just pretend QE isn't here right now.
He doesn't have to
Oh, that's
pretend
hard to
because
do.
I'm boot scooting right now.
Yeah, Owen will stop saying it then. I'm sure.
Hey, Virus. Why did they rock the sextant at the horizon with the image of the sun? What's that purpose?
You said what now?
It's the
No,
camera.
I didn't say what now.
side
I
effect.
said, Virus, why do they rock the sextant side to side with the image of the sun using the horizon? What's the purpose for that?
What do you mean? Are you saying when you use the other mirror to bring the object down to the horizon, or at least like to the tip?
I'll say it a
or whatever,
third
instead of
time.
doing it-
Why does the
whatever.
navigator holding the sextant at sea using the sea horizon rock the sextant side to side? Side to side. What's the purpose for that?
Is that an index error correction?
Why are you whispering? I can't hear you.
Is that an index mirror correction? Because I'm not 100% sure on that one.
No, okay. He's already done all the corrections on the instrument itself. If he has any registered index error, he's dotted it. He's going to minus it or add it. But when he starts using it, after all the instrument corrections are done, why does he rock side to side, having the lower limb of the sun kiss the horizon? What's the purpose for that?
Oh, you talking about bringing the object down to the horizon, whatever. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I usually do. I know usually you will try to aim for the very tip, so that way you have to do the diameter correction a little bit later. But I think the real point, you really want to get it that halfway point, which is hard to do, so they accept the little tip. The little tip.
No. You're missing the point. The rocking motion of the sextant and the lower limb of the luminary kissing the horizon. What is the purpose of that when he says mark and takes his reading when it's right there?
Wouldn't that give you the angle minus the diameter correction?
No, has nothing to do with that, Virus.
Can you just repeat back what 10th Man is asking you, because you keep asking something else?
No, he just keeps repeating the same thing like it's changing the question. And I just told him I really don't understand that too much. All I understand about that is the mid-diameter correction.
It has nothing to do with diameter correction. Why is the sextant, when it's in use, go on, if you have to talk.
You have to talk.
No,
okay, go ahead.
Just intern.
Why does the operator of the sextant rock the instrument from side to side until the lower limb of the luminary is barely kissing the natural sea horizon? What is that for?
You just asked the same thing like 5 times, and I gave you the answer.
Yeah, I'm
that
waiting
I
for
don't
you
really
to answer
understand
it,
that.
and so far you haven't.
Because I told you I don't really understand that besides the whole diameter.
Okay, if you don't
correction.
understand that, then
told
why
you
do you
that.
ever talk about the sextant as if you know what that's for, when that's the part where the navigator says mark? It's very crucial.
Because I understand the math of it, and I said that that's where they get the angle from, minus the diameter correction.
It has nothing to do with minus the diameter correction.
Then what's the
Do you have a
diameter
quotation
correction?
for that? Diameter correction?
Yeah.
Where's that in the
Yeah, I
Sextant
mean,
manual?
I could pull that up.
Well, it's just that you've been talking about the sextant so much and line of sight. I just
Do
figured you'd know why
you know what a
they
diameter
rock the
correction
sextant.
is? Do you know what the diameter correction is?
No, you're not changing the subject. I'm asking you, why are they
No,
rocking the
this is still a
sextant
part of
until
that.
a certain...
This is
excuse
still
me.
a part of that.
No, it's
this
not.
is still a part of that.
It's
Tim.
not.
Yes, it is. Okay,
No,
wait,
it's
wait. Just
not.
wait a second. Just wait
This
right
is
here, and
how
I'm gonna go
you
get the
don't even
citation for the
understand a
diameter
simple.
correction. Just wait right here.
He's
Wait
going to
right
get a
here.
quotation
define
for
an
what he
angle.
said is necessary, to just let him do that. You know, but it
Can't
has to
define
be
what
from
an
a
angle
Sextant
is.
manual, not some stupid site.
No, just all he has to do is Google why do they rock the sextant. That's all he's got to do.
Can't define what an angle is properly. Why are we asking any more difficult questions?
I thought they rocked the Casbah.
Yeah, say what you said again, refracted curvature.
He can't define what an angle is properly. Why are we asking him any more difficult questions than that?
Yeah, you got a point. I'll back off. I thought it was simple.
Well, I still want the citation for what he was responding with, right? Because he insisted. So let's see it.
He didn't respond with anything. He just knows a few bits of terminology with celestial navigation, and he decided to make mumbo jumbo with it, and now he's lost.
Right, and now I want a citation of that mumbo jumbo so we can compare that to what you were asking.
Well, why don't you Google, because he won't, Google why they rock the sextant. Nah,
He said he was going to do it, so
no, it'd be the death of him to say the answer. That's why I asked it.
let's give it a chance.
Okay.
That's why he's not answering. Don't you realize that?
Oh my God, how much
With
wrong
Danny
can you
Partner
be
being
about why I'm
quiet.
doing something? If you want to know why I'm doing something, just freaking ask. Don't assume.
Like with Danny
Are you getting the
Partner,
citation?
yes.
Come on, guys. Akumu,
Yes,
are
I'm
you
getting
getting
it.
the citation?
I have it right here in front of me. I'm about to send it over now. Just give me a second.
All right. Are you going to send us an entire file, or are you going to make it into an actual citation?
And to be clear, is this citation going to? Is it in relation to why they rock the sextant?
Isn't it what I was talking about with the section and bringing something down to the lower limb instead of putting it to the diameter, like to the middle?
Yeah, but he's talking about why they rock it, though.
I know what he's talking about, and I also said what I was talking about because he think I'm making up stuff.
Okay,
So
what you're
please,
talking about is not
chill out.
important because he's asking you about what he's asking you about.
What?
Thank you, Eli.
What he's
Eli
also
gets it.
what? It's all important because he's thinking I'm making stuff up.
No, that's not what we're thinking. What we're thinking is that you are not actually answering the question and kind of straw manning with another detail of the same subject that has nothing to do with the question that 10th Mana asks. And that's why we're asking for a citation so we can
was my
see
answer to 10's
whether it
question?
actually matches his question.
Yeah, it's a red herring.
What was my answer to his question?
He doesn't know. He
You
did
don't
say no.
understand.
Oh my God. I tried.
The diameter correction.
Good job. That wasn't my answer. God.
Your first answer was you don't understand the question.
Guy's a liar.
I heard him say diameter correction. I don't know what the hell he's talking about with that.
Has somebody typed out the file yet you're going to use as a citation? Or is it actually taking this long to find?
The foul? What are you talking about? I clearly said it wasn't a foul.
Okay, then how are you getting the citation?
He's in the middle of writing it right now. Just give him a minute.
I wouldn't know.
I thought it would get more laughs than it did. Come on.
I'd laugh, but I'm just so annoyed that he's doing this. What? Like, come on. Just
guys are so
shouldn't take this long.
It was similarly the same thing with the semi-diameter correction. It was pretty much the same thing. It's about the height of the object. So it was on point, just not exactly what you wanted to hear, 10th.
So rocking the sextant corrects for semi-diameter correction. Is that what you're saying, Virus? Come on.
No, I'm saying
rocking the sextant.
Limb, you do the lower limb instead of doing the actual to the middle of it.
Why?
When you do the lower limb instead of the actual middle, you have to correct for it called the semi-diameter correction.
No.
It's because of the height of the
It's all really nice. This has nothing to do with what 10th asked.
Eli said it properly. You're not staying with the context of the question. Obviously, the lower limb.
You rock it for the height of the object, which is lower limb, upper limb. The semi-diameter is the middle.
Right. Very good. You know what a circle is. Great. Okay, now why? Good. Just hold up for a minute, Virus. Good. Upper limb, semi-diameter, lower limb. Okay, good. We got all that of a circle. Now, why do they rock the sextant with the image of the sun and want to kiss the lower limb on the horizon? Why is the rocking motion needed? For what purpose?
I just answered that. This is for the height of the object. You get the lower limb, you make that correction later on. That's what I was talking about.
Why do you keep responding with something that doesn't answer his question?
The height of the object. I keep saying that.
It has nothing to do with what he said.
Okay, if it has nothing to do with the height of the object, my bad, then I'm wrong. It's just that simple.
So then you're not gonna, if it's not the question that you want 10th man to ask you, you're not gonna answer it? Is that it?
What? I just freaking answered it. I said if it has nothing to do with the height of the object, then I am wrong. That means I gave a wrong answer. What part of that aren't you getting?
All right.
Not the answer. It's like a quiz that nobody gets to answer. Let's hear it.
No, it's a quiz. I just gave the wrong answer and got it wrong. I mean, it's not that hard to understand.
I'm with you. No,
cool.
Virus, I'm with you, man. I'm saying other people want to hear the answer. That's all. I'm with you, brother. I hear you completely.
Already. Okay, cool. Thank you. My bad. I jumped the gun on that
one. No, man. You understand. But yeah, let's hear the answer, man. Come on, I want to know.
It's on the screen now. The picture Nathan has up. It's on the screen.
He can't see that.
What's the answer?
Why don't you find it so that you can't say that we twisted your words?
Man. Just you asked the question, I gave a wrong answer, so give the right answer.
Right. So why don't you do a little more Google typing and find the right answer and give it to us? It's not that hard. Just type in Google. Why does rocking the
motion of the sextant must be done when taking the site to ensure that the proper vertical height of the object is measured. Rocking means rotating the sextant without moving the head about an imaginary line with your eye to the object to the horizon. That's what it says.
Okay, what was that word? What was that word that started with a V?
Vertical height.
Oh, so the sextant is used for an elevation. Virus, please hold on. Please don't interrupt while I'm saying something. So the sextant is used to an elevation angle, the vertical height, the altitude, correct?
Yeah, the vertical height of the object. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now that vertical height of the object must line up with the horizon perpendicular. So guess what that makes the horizon automatically?
Horizontal.
90 degrees.
Game over. Nathan, go to Master B. I got 4 slides. Game over.
Literally just said the
game, set, match, Virus.
Okay, they're up.
I have a question for Virus in a few minutes.
You see the first one with the blue background?
my
Is that
bad.
the one?
Yeah.
Okay. Correct altitude when it's just kissing the horizon. The rocking motion would give it an error if you said mark and had it at an angle from the left to the right of the horizon, as seen here. Next slide. Showing here in picture, same thing. Kissing the lower limb. And you can see sighting stars at night. The same thing must happen. What is the horizon at sea used for? To establish a vertical sextant angle, an elevation angle, which means it must be perpendicular, which means the horizon is horizontal, not bending. Next slide. Sun tangent with the horizon. You can see it here. This is speaking volumes to all the ballers. In order to have this perpendicular, you must have the horizon already a flat baseline. Last slide. This is perpendicular. That's the horizon. And that's the sextant properly held vertical. And the navigator says mark. And you get your vertical angle. From what? From a solid horizontal baseline. Game over.
Thank you, 10th.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the problem with these Glovers today is that, unlike when we used to say game over, it was really 3 lives and that was it. The games these days, you just press do over and you can do it as many times as you want.
I heard every word that you said over the background noise.
Sorry.
Nothing, Virus?
Of course not.
Oh, he's had nothing for years.
Nothing, Virus?
What?
No, to what I stated and shared and cited and showed. Nothing?
Well, fine. I have no problem with it. Well, I mean, what do you expect
really?
me to? I mean, like,
So
what
you
do
don't have a
expect me to say?
problem using
You want me to
Earth
go against it?
as a flat baseline to get a vertical angle. Thank you. What
I
kind
have
of
no
flat
problem
Earth?
with a flat baseline to get an angle. I mean, you're supposed to have that on any model that you're on. So
No, your model's supposed to have a curved baseline. What are you talking about on any model? The model that was derived by flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris, aka the globe, has got a curved baseline in violation of the angle measurements that were required to make it. So you can't say that that's what you need on any model. What, a flat Earth on any model? No, you need to derive all models from the flat Earth that we're actually standing on, but your model's got a curved baseline, not a flat one.
okay, how about
Wait,
this?
wait.
When you're
Did he just
using
play it
the
off like,
sextant in your
of course
hand,
y'all
whenever
need
you
a
actually
horizontal
reference,
plane. What?
when you have a sextant in your hand and you're getting angles, looking at the horizon and stuff, when are you referencing the ground beneath you?
That's what you're navigating. Why would you be holding a sextant?
That comes later.
So why are you holding a sextant? It's not your cock. It's a device for navigating the ground.
Beneath you.
You're navigating the ground with it, you dumbo. Why the hell are you holding it?
You're not.
You're not. So why would you be holding a sextant then? If you're not navigating the ground or measuring an angle from the ground to something in the vertical plane, then there's no point in holding the tool. It requires you to be measuring something in the vertical plane. And what you're measuring it from? The horizontal plane. And you're saying, yeah, you need that for all the models, the horizontal plane. No, your model's got a curved baseline, as he rumpuses the living crap out of me. Every last word he rumpus from Discord.
I heard.
Painful for you, Fundy, you chants through me. Are you going to tell me how you heard me, as you've been chanting for the last straight minute, over the top of me, scumbag? No, mate. It's measured in the vertical plane. What's it measured from? Well, from the horizontal plane, the one that you said every model needs. No, a horizontal plane, the one we'll be navigating if we're holding a sextant, is what we are Standing on.
Okay, if you were standing on it, you wouldn't need a dip correction.
Right, standing on it, so we don't need a dip correction from it. We're measuring an angle from it, so we don't need a dip correction from it. No, it's absolutely unequivocally required to be measuring an angle. That you need it to be a flat baseline. The same one that you said was prerequisite for all models. Yeah, not quite right. All models were derived from the elevation angle measurements that require Earth to be flat, not the other way round.
Yeah, you don't need the. Okay, a literal tangent plane is not an Earth representation.
You haven't got a tangent.
Plane.
You haven't got a tangent. You demanded we accept that the line to the horizon was bent since 2020. You haven't got a tangent to anything.
Hey, Virus, if your eyeball is on the sea level like the horizon, do you need dip correction?
No.
Don't answer that.
No, if you have your eyes in the ground, then no, you don't need dip correction.
So what the hell are you babbling about?
Why isn't the horizon dipping anymore?
So yeah, so when we're eyes on the ground's not curving anymore. In your model it is. Why would the ground suddenly stop curving if we get our eyes to the ground? It doesn't. It's always flat. That's what you're establishing when you measure an angle from it. The baseline being flat. It's a prerequisite, mate. And your model doesn't have one. It's not that all models are based on it in terms of they utilise it once they're spherical. No, derived from flat planes to make them spherical, which means they don't work with angle measurements. Not the other way around.
It works.
Yeah,
just
you should have
fine
said.
unless
You should have said.
some-
You should have said yes. We do still need to do dip correction when you were asked that question, Morris. If you're a glober. Sorry,
My bad. I didn't know you was talking.
I have a question for Morris.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you just ask him to define an elevation angle and we'll all get our popcorn?
Hang on 1 second.
Oh, here we go. Hang on. We got to go to dip correction.
No, that's
right?
not.
No.
I'd rather he did that. What's an elevation angle?
Was it an angle from something from the horizon, an object in the sky above the horizon?
Wrong.
That's not correct. That's not correct.
Try again.
Try again.
Angle above the horizon with an object.
Wrong.
Oh, well, my bad. What is it?
You tell us. You're babbling on like you know. Why don't you look it up?
No, he just told me I was wrong.
You are wrong. Now we're asking you to look it up.
What you're talking about. That's what crazy this is.
I've got 20 of them. I've got 20 of them. I'll rattle them off in humility for you later. But you think you know, so you can look it up.
Just one of them. You just told me I was wrong, so give me the right answer.
Yeah, third time's a charm. You are wrong. Now you can go and look it up and see if you can get it right this time around, rather than chanting through me or telling me continually that you say you're wrong. Yeah, you are. Now go and get it right. Off you go.
Okay, then give me the right answer.
No, you can go and get the right answer, Dumbo, who thought you were right and you're wrong. And when you look it up, you'll find out how wrong you are. We're asking you to define elevation angle. You're yet to do so.
Okay, then do it.
No, you do it. I've got 20 of them lined up. I'm telling you now, I've got plenty. I will rattle them off. But you have already attempted to and are wrong. Now you can have a second go. Off you pop. Give us your citation for what an elevation angle is.
Okay, then give it to me.
I'm going to kick him out.
Being ignorant with this? I mean, it's not that hard. I guess somebody give a wrong answer, you give the right one. Boom, that easy.
You're arguing your claim. You don't even know what it is.
My claim is not elevation angles. You
no,
brought
but that
this
was
up.
the question that you were asked, bro. That's what the fuck we're talking about. So if you don't know what it is, why don't you do real quick?
I gave the wrong answer.
Google it and find out what it is. So you're gonna wait for the flat earthers to tell you what an elevation angle is.
I put it in the chat for you there, Virus.
From horizontal. This is exactly what I said. Oh my fucking god.
This guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's retarded.
Yeah, I thought you came to present your globe evidence. Is that not what you're presenting, Virus?
Nah, you can't be doing that.
Sorry,
Still waiting for that elevation
But yeah,
angle.
it basically just says the same thing
You
I
have
just
a
said in different
citation.
wording.
Don't
It is
talk
the
when I'm
angular
talking.
height of an object in the
Do not talk when I'm talking. Do not do that. Don't wait until there's a break conversation, and then when the other person starts talking, you start talking. Those days are over. You are going to shut the fuck up. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to go snatch a citation of what an elevation angle is, not what you think it is, what it actually is, and you're going to post it in main chat, or you're not going to say another word. You might have to say a word.
Dewey seems to be extra hangry. His in-laws
Don't you
must
get
be
it, man?
flying in.
The Globers are using Akamu virus as Operation Black Shield.
Okay, wait a second. He's got a citation. Hold on. Of course, he doesn't have any. It's not a citation, but hold on a second. I'll just read it. Elevation angle, elevation angle. You can't even write, I suppose. The elevation angle used interchangeably with altitude angle is the angular height of the sun in the sky measured from the horizontal. Confusingly, both altitude and elevation are also used to describe the height in meters above sea level. What the fuck does that even mean? Where did you get this from? Where'd you get this from? This isn't, I have no idea where you got this from.
I got the same one. There's one in front of it that's better. I don't know why he's reading that one.
That's right. So where did it say anything about a globe Earth curved surface in that? It didn't.
Doesn't.
Well, it wouldn't have to, right? He's the one who told us, obviously you need a horizontal plane. Of course, that all models require.
Yeah, and he's right. They all required the acquisition of elevation angle measurements from the flat plane we dwell atop in order to derive their spherical models.
Right, that's why he doesn't want to read this, because it says the angle formed by the line of sight and the horizontal plane for an object above the horizontal. He don't want to read that one.
Above the horizontal?
I have no problem with tangents.
Above the horizontal?
It's not a tangent!
Sorry, where did it say tangent? Sorry, hold on, we've got some confusion. Sorry, where in that did it say tangent?
A horizontal plane is a tangent to a curve.
Where in your sight?
That doesn't mean that a horizontal plane is something.
Maybe he's deaf. My question was, where in the citation did it say tangent? Now we're into constant fundy muting. Don't seem to understand what the question is. Where in your citation does it say tangent?
I already said the answer to your question. Fuck, Nathan.
How many syllables was that, Akam?
Right, where in the citation does it say tangent? Where in the citation does it say tangent?
You just asked him the same question. He's going to give you the same answer. So now you said a horizontal plane is a tangent.
Thank you.
So now you go and get the definition of a tangent.
Where does it say that? It doesn't say that in the citation he gave.
I know that.
It won't be in the definition.
Yeah,
You actually have to
he's
dig
already
deeper
under
than
the
definition
assumption
of
that a
what tangent
horizontal
is.
plane is a tangent.
No. Sorry. We asked what an elevation angle measurement was. He's given us a citation. Now he's deciding he's going to mumble through my summary. He's given us his citation. I've read it. Okay. It doesn't say tangent.
How many tangerines make a tangent?
Whoever else is talking from Discord and G+, can you just stop? Sorry, Virus. Fourth time I've said this. It does not say tangent in your citation. Anywhere.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't say tangent.
Okay, so we're not going to be going away and defining a tangent to anything, because what it does say is that we need a horizontal plane. That's what it says. It doesn't say tangent, but you're now getting into what a tangent does or doesn't do. It doesn't say that.
Shit.
That's the okie doke he's trying to slip past you. That he already defined the horizon as a tangent. So
What?
it's just
No, I
he's
didn't.
already under that presupposition. You
That
didn't?
don't make no sense. Why would I make the horizon a tangent?
You didn't say.
You just did that.
You didn't say that.
No, I didn't. I never said the horizon is literally a tangent. I never said that.
Wow.
Okay, that's great.
You already forgot.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, cool. You're not saying it's a tangent. Okay, cool. Let's move on. So what we're doing then when we measure elevation angle measurements is it's vertical height versus the horizontal plane. That's all it is.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Right, so the ground's horizontal, not curving, no tangent to anything, no need to talk immediately through me as I point this out.
I'm listening to you.
But horizontal then. Earth a plane then. Measuring from Earth the plane then.
Horizontal is fine if you understand.
Fine? Why are you telling me that it's fine? So Earth's flat then?
That has nothing to do with Earth being flat. But okay.
Well, you're measuring from it. You're referencing it. That's what it is. And there's no mention of curving Earth or curving baselines or tangent when you're measuring an elevation angle measurement. There's no need to immediately chant through every single word I say, Virus. That's really not necessary.
Can I finish?
What, chant through every word I say so you don't have to respond to it?
I'm responding to what you're saying.
What, while I'm in the middle of saying it? You think it's reasonable to chant through the middle of what I'm saying and then declare that you're responding to what I'm saying as I'm saying it? No, that's not reasonable. You're being a wanker. If you continue to be a wanker, I'm going to eject you because I'm just not tolerating that crap behaviour anymore. While I discuss that you've conceded, yeah, I'm fine with it being horizontal. What's it? What are you fine with being horizontal there, Virus?
A tangent plane.
Sorry, there is no mention of tangent at all. You just said, literally 2 seconds ago, I'm not talking about a tangent, because it doesn't reference a tangent, but in fact you do want to talk about a tangent that isn't referenced in your citation, and Fundy mute me summarising the fact that you're now reintroducing a tangent that isn't mentioned in your citation.
Just letting me know that...
You're just chanting through me, Virus. Second chance, one more. Just don't take part anymore, because you're not being reasonable, you're chanting straight through my summary. What, responding to it while I say it?
Keep talking.
He's already like on a...
Literally listening to you. You're cutting off for no reason.
You kind of keep talking. You keep talking through him, Akamu. Just let him finish his statement. And
He's
then
got
you
one
can
more
respond.
chance to do that. You don't have to reiterate what I've told him. If he chants through the middle of me summarising how he's okay with Earth as a plane, that's what it is when we measure an elevation angle. From the plane, the one that we're navigating, that's the only reason we're doing this. And we're measuring in reference to the height in the vertical in reference to the horizontal. That's what it is. And what are we measuring? We're measuring the ground that we're standing on, the horizontal plane that the observer is standing on, as per citations. No mention of tangent, no mention of curved Earth. If there was, it would violate the measurement.
Okay, now I can talk. All right, I have no problem with something being horizontal on any model whatsoever.
No, not on a model. We're not measuring a model. Don't use some red herring straw man that I haven't declared. If you're holding a sextant, you're not measuring a model. So let's not talk about what you're doing when you're holding a sextant, because you're not measuring models with sextants. You're measuring the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. There's no mention of models in your citation either.
Did you...
Don't ask me a question, you stupid retard. There's no mention of model in your citation either.
Did you hear anything I said?
You don't need to ask me a question. You need to accept and understand that your citation doesn't mention models. You're now subverting my question, more like a point that we need a horizontal plane. That's the thing we will be navigating if we're holding a sextant measuring an elevation angle in reference to the height in the vertical plane. Only referenced with regards to the horizontal plane the observer holding the sextant is standing on, not a model.
You didn't hear nothing I said explaining about tangents and why tangents are used as a
So
horizontal.
why would I need to understand tangents? There was no mention of tangents in your citation. Why do I need to understand about tangents when there's no mention of tangency in your citation?
It's a yes or no question.
No, it's not a yes or no question. There's no mention of tangents. So there's no yes or no question being put to me when you demand I understand about tangency, something you don't have on a globe. And if we're looking for an angle, we're not looking for a tangent. That's not what your citation says. I don't care about tangents. It's not cited as needing a tangent.
Did you not hear me when I explained why tangents are needed?
Well, I don't care what you explain. Your citation doesn't mention tangents. You don't care what you say. Find me a citation that says you need a tangent when measuring an elevation angle, and I'll accept it. Your citation did not include mention of the requirement for a tangent when measuring an elevation angle. So get me a citation that does. I don't care what you say. Have you got one that says a tangent's needed?
You really want me to give you a...
Yeah, I want you to get me a citation that references tangent, like I've just demanded you give me, giving me the fact that you are demanding that I accept some sort of tangency that isn't referenced in the citation you gave. Yeah, you're going to get a citation that does include it, and then I might consider it based on the relevance and significance of the citation that does include tangent, something you haven't done yet.
You don't understand why...
Fuck you, get out.
Wow.
Bye-bye, virus.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll define what an elevation angle is, further to his that didn't include tangency. The altitude angle, open brackets, sometimes referred to as the solar elevation angle, close brackets, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. End quote. Sustainable by design. Altitude angle. No mention of tangent, no mention of curving Earth, and a requirement that Earth is flat.
Other than muddying the waters, I don't even know what Akumu virus was trying to accomplish. It's just stumbling around and not getting anything right and just dragging things into time-wasting, misunderstanding territory.
Is Akuma virus still there?
No, as soon as he told me I don't understand. Yeah, I do. As soon as he descends into ad hom, after I gave him 3 chances to not chant through me continually, and on the last discourse, before I ejected him, he chanted through me continually. Didn't he, Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and when he stopped chanting through me, his response to the complete ignorance of every word I had said, having chanted through every word of it so Discord couldn't hear me, as they've just affirmed, he told me I didn't understand, having not listened to a single word I said. That's when I kicked him out after giving him 3 opportunities to not chant through the middle of me so he doesn't have to bear to listen to it. The flat plane he requires. That's what he wasn't listening to. That's what he's obfuscating. And that's what he's going to follow up with you don't understand and get kicked out for.
Well, the question I wanted to ask him, I was just about to ask him, I said his name at the same time as Tent, but Tent got in just that little bit before me. And I tried to ask him again a second time, but I just couldn't get it in. When in the globe's explanation for why Polaris appears to rise and fall in the sky, the elevations that they're working with are based off of the horizon we see. So all our maths are based off the horizon we see. The elevations of Polaris above that horizon. Now, that's just the horizon, the real horizon. They never added any 7/6R into their calculations. They just used the horizon we see, and they back calculated from there. So what would Virus or any other glober have to say about that? Because if they're using the horizon we see, and that gave them the dimensions of their globe, which it did, back calculated, then you know, how are they adding in 7/6R after that? would that not change the dimensions of their globe, making it much smaller if they have to add in 7/6R after that point? Because it wasn't added in for Polaris. They just back calculated off of the observations that were made from the actual horizon. There was no geometric horizon involved. But in their orthographic maps, when they show it orthographically, they're showing their geometric horizon as if it's in line with the visible real horizon.
Well, I just wanted to mention that the craziest thing I heard him say was that there's no such thing as horizontal in real life. First of all, you know what I find funny? One of the only shapes that you can't put into a horizontal orientation is a sphere. Pretty funny.
And it's also
Nathan,
funny. It's funny we are talking about this, the maps. People don't understand. Our maps are in reality flat that we are using on the sea.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Elijah,
Nobody's
because I
using
wanted to.
globe as a navigation tool.
I wanted to ask Akamu, where in spherical geometry is a horizon applicable? So it was kind of funny you mentioned that.
You guys are in Discord. You say you want to ask him that, but does he want to answer? No. What he wants to do while you're putting that to him is chant through you putting it to him, so he doesn't have to answer. So when you say you want to put it to him, what, you want him to turn into a totally different person who's reasonable, listens to your question and doesn't fundy mute it, and then tell you don't understand before you've answered the question?
Yeah, that's pretty much what he did, huh?
What was wrong with the definition I read, Nathan?
No. His only objective is to introduce a tangent. That's it. One he hasn't got because it's refracted. But that's his objective. Ignoring everything we say. Conceding that he's okay with horizontal. But that's not in regards to the ground that we're about to navigate, and that's why we're holding this sextant. Oh, no. Nothing to do with the ground. That's what we deal with.
No, he said horizontal is fine. And he went on to go, he was trying to say, if you know what it means, but you cut him off.
Yeah, but does any Nathan, I know you get it, but I don't know about everyone else. Do you understand my point concerning Polaris? Because that is a complete contradiction to these other claims involving tangent planes and 7/6R refracted horizons. There was no tangent plane, there was no 7/6R refracted horizons. They just had to use the real world observation measurements to Polaris as you move due south away from its GP or due north towards its GP.
I did understand your point, but it's just, you have this habit, Brian, no offence, of towing the line between actual heliocentric rhetoric and arguments that overcome objections that are put forth by technically anti-flat earth rhetoric. Now, while 7/6R is standard globe rhetoric and 7/6R isn't standard globe rhetoric when it comes to measuring angles to Polaris, that is the essence of our argument, though, isn't it? That the elevation angle measurement to this light in the sky requires a flat plane to make, while they simultaneously assert that the horizon that's in reference to the elevation angle measurement to Polaris is also refracted. That's the contradiction at a nuance level that introduces several begging the question fallacies to explain their nuanced contradiction with a refracted horizon at ground level when looking at targets in the distance and a non-refracted horizon that gives you elevation angle measurements that require a flat plane in the first instance anyway.
No, it's much more devastating than that. This is why I think people aren't getting it. For them to place create an orthographic diagram of how, as you move due south on a globe, that as you go down over the curve of their globe, right, in an orthographic diagram, then your angle to Polaris changes, and it changes at the rate that it does in reality when we take flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris as we move due south, horizontally away from its GP point. The point I'm making is that means that the horizon within that plane which is the basis of where their radius came from, and all the dimensions of their globe is based directly on flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris. So my point being, if they have to treat the horizon we see within their Polaris explanation as their geometric horizon, that means any claims of a 7/6 are needed means that their dimensions for their globe and their radius is all out the window, because they have to treat the horizon we see as the geometric horizon for the Polaris explanation. Because it's that horizon.
Yes, I fully understand that. But yes, but also for the very essence of their claim, Brian. Their claim that they say proves Earth is a sphere-shaped rock in space is that there's a physical limitation called Earth curve, geometric in nature. And what I'm saying is that claim that there's a physical geometric limitation called Earth curve with a tangent point to it is violated the moment they say refraction, isn't it? We've been trying to tell them that for 2 straight years. And you're saying beyond that, once you've got a refracted horizon, that violates all of the angle measurements to Polaris. Yeah, that is one step beyond that. But that's what we've been telling them when we've been saying to them, the moment you say refracted, you've destroyed your geometric claim. And you're expanding on that. So you're not wrong. I'm not saying that you're in any way incorrect. You are absolutely correct. But that's, as I said earlier, that's the essence of the argument.
Well, yeah, it's like the tangent that they are shooting from their eyeball at that point.
It's locally flat.
Is the tangent they are shooting from their eyeball at that point is to the visible horizon, and that is what all our maths. That's what they have to believe. And that's what in orthographic. That's what all our maths show.
Exactly, Brian. So they have to believe that there's a tangent point to a geometric Earth curve edge. Yes, it's also simultaneously the primary claim they make. Yes, they must deny it when they say it's refracted. Yes, that's what we've been telling them for 2 years.
I know that.
Their entire argument based.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait a second.
On geometric considerations.
Wait a second. Hold on a second before I got to step out for about 45 minutes. Wait a second. What tangent point from their eye? That has nothing to do with an elevation angle.
It's to do with their Polaris explanation.
No, they're wrong. No, they're incorrect. That's what my second point was about. The horizontal plane is a given. Their line of sight only has to deal with the vertical, not any horizontal.
I know, but I'm talking about their explanation, their orthographic explanation for why Polaris appears to rise and drop. That is where those flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris is where their radius and dimensions for their globe comes from. There is no 7/6R.
I'm not saying that. I heard somebody say, I don't know if it was you, somebody said there was a tangent to the horizon. No.
Well, yeah, but that's what they have to believe that's what they have to state within their orthographic diagram.
Well, that's not an elevation.
Yeah, but the horizon that the point is that the actual horizon within their Polaris claim is their geometric horizon. That has to be their geometric horizon within their Polaris claim.
Yeah, I was just dealing with that one point, so I got to break out for about 45 minutes. If you're still here, I'll be back.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Nathan, I've got a website with a unique tool in Master B, followed by a slide. You open up that website.
Can I bring up the website?
Yeah, it's just a math site.
Angles of elevation and depression, that one.
Yeah. Put your mouse on the plus sign where it's the eye line horizontal with the little Boyd Johnson there, and move that to the plane.
I mean, oh yes. Okay.
So you got a 22.1 degree elevation angle.
Hold on, move it to the plane. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry, go on. It's on the plane, aeroplane.
Yeah, so angle of elevation of the plane from Johnson, 22.1 degrees. Now grab that plus sign and put it back on the horizon, obviously it's going to be 0 degrees.
No.
Now bring it down.
There is
as
no
a depression angle.
Hold on. There is no horizon in this picture.
No, the one that the dotted line in this eye line. Just put that there.
Okay.
It shows no angle. But as you bring it down slowly from the plane, you see the angle dropping to 0. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now take that plus sign and do a depression angle to the boat.
15.6 degrees.
Yeah, I got 15.9 when I put it on that little red dot. Okay, close enough. What's happening here? What's happening here is if we switch positions and do what Johnson did, but now do it from the boat, if the boat operator is looking at Johnson at the tower, he's going to have an elevation angle. But in this case, Johnson's looking at the boat from a higher ground position. Now you see the straight line that the boat is on. Now, that is the surface of the Earth. They have this eye line horizontal called the sensible horizon, which is only achieved if you hung a plumb line. But no one on the boat hangs a plumb line because it's rocking too much. So what must a navigator on the boat do? Navigator on the boat must shoot the most stable thing around him, and that's the horizon. And the purpose of it is for an elevation angle from that horizon as a baseline. It must be perpendicular as described to virus. The rocking motion of the lower limb of the sun or the moon or the stars, which you don't have to do because they're small, is just to kiss the horizon in a vertical 90, the perpendicular. You can't take a sextant angle with your sextant tool, rock to the left side or the right side of perpendicular. It must create that 90. Now, you are on the boat doing this, but if you go and do it from the surface of the sea with your eyeballs, no height of eye correction, because that same horizontal, that same horizon that you rock the sextant on to get perpendicular is the same plane that you are on, which means from you to the horizon is flat. Horizon looking as sideways to bring the sun down and rocking is flat, or else you can't get an elevation angle. They're dead both ways, and they're especially dead when you look at a depression angle. So that is height of eye correction. Now, the last slide that I put up there is, you can go to that one, showing you exactly how it's done. Flat plane. It can't happen on a curved surface because you got to work with 90. It's so over, and you saw him scrambling today, trying to figure out why you rock the sextant. It's so you can be perpendicular to the flat Earth and get your 90. And if you get your eyes on the water with height of eye correction, which they call dip, that means you're on the same plane. No dip correction, because it's flat from you to there, flat from there to here, everywhere is flat. That's it.
Thank you, Gent. Excellent.
This has been an epic after show.
So you're saying everything is flat. It's all flat everywhere. Flat, 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 flat. I love it. And I think virus is claiming locally flat all the time.
Yeah, that's fine.
The only way
it's flat enough to do what we got to do, but that's not true.
Well, look, the only way the anti-flat earthers can even attempt to make a globe-like point is by muddying the water and effectively for themselves not understanding the point. Because as soon as they get real, immediately it will sink in, oh wait, yeah, it's all based on a flat earth. So what else can they do but just confuse themselves in order not to understand and continuate the argument?
Or chant through the point so they don't have to listen to it. Any more comments in this regard?
Why do they chant through? So you can't be heard.
Because it's too painful to hear it. The conclusion is all they ever chant through. Because the conclusion demonstrates Earth is flat. And after a concession that they've given in that instance via saying, yeah, okay, yeah, it's got to all be horizontal. But we're not talking about the ground. We're talking about a tangent to the ground. That was what he wants to say. It's absurd. But his citation doesn't back it, so he needs to chant through the conclusion that he's conceding it needs to be flat. It's a prerequisite to do the measurement. So he doesn't want to hear it. It's too painful.
Exactly.
With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hopefully helping Flatsoid out to get a new PC and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!